from those. And those are scenes to the left of your screens of, again, women from a particular community praying, saying that they are being victimized. Listen in to the slogans, the music that is being played out, and the slogans that have been chanted. Viewers, these people now believe that the state has abandoned all objectivity, that it is only targeting them because of their faith. Who is responsible for this? Certainly not the courts, viewers. The courts don't dispense justice looking at a person's faith or the gods that they genuflect before. The law of the land is blind to identity, viewers. And by perpetuating this myth, by spreading this propaganda, what are we doing? What are these political parties doing? The facts speak for themselves, and there are hard facts which I want to take you over. And they couldn't be more different from the reality, viewers, that certain people here are trying to create. The facts will prove that the court and the central government haven't suddenly colluded, as they are being accused of, to target Muslims and drive them out of the area for electoral considerations. Let me tell you, in 2013, a PIL is filed for the removal of encroachment on the grounds that the local squatters had been carrying out illegal mining activities. Illegal. That had caused large parts of the RCC Gola bridge at Haldwani to collapse a few years earlier. In 2008, viewers, 5 years earlier, that bridge was collapsing. Why? Because of illegal sand dredging that was taking place at this spot on railway land, public land. It could pose a massive threat to life and safety. And this was happening when? In 2013. 10 years ago, viewers, 10 years ago. So this has not been done by a government or a set of courts now. Time to some election, the Lok Sabha elections, to change the demography, remove Muslims. No, viewers, this began in 2013. In 2014, a division bench of the High Court not only ordered an inspection of the site, but also gave money, allocated funds for the team to ascertain the facts. In June 2015, the court ordered the local administration to establish a police picket in the area so as to check illegal mining. On 9th November 2016, the High Court ordered the removal of the encroachments and ruled in favor, yes, ruled in favor of the railways. The encroachment had to be carried out. The encroachment was to be evicted, in 10 days. But it never took place. Yes, viewers, what is being ordered today had been ordered in 2016 November. Against this order, the Uttarakhand government of the Congress had filed a review petition. But this petition was dismissed in January 2017. In its order, the court tore into the state government. Which state government? It was the Congress government. Viewers, the court said, and I quote, owing to the certain most reckoned political shield which was being provided by the ruling party for its political gains to the unauthorized occupants just to secure a vote bank, the state itself filed a Review 38 petition for no subsisting and valid reasons, unquote. So who's playing vote bank politics, viewers? The Congress played it then. The opposition today is playing it now. These dismissals were later challenged in the Supreme Court in 2017, which allowed individual petitioners to approach the High Court. Once again, viewers, the cycle begins. 5 years later, the High Court once again orders an eviction. These are the facts. So it's quite clear, viewers, that the BJP government or the High Court is not acting in collusion out of a sense of deep Islamophobia as is being alleged. These are the facts. In fact, viewers, Hindu temples and homes are also being evicted, and once again on camera we have proof of this. Here's what Times Now team found. Listen to this reporter who filed this news report earlier in the day.
मौजूद हैं वन भूलपुरा इलाके में, जहां पर मकान तोड़ने की कार्रवाई के लिए 10 तारीख का निर्देश दिया गया। और यह बता दूं, ये कोई ऐसा इलाका नहीं है एक पक्ष के ऊपर कार्रवाई हो रही है। यहाँ सर्व समाज के लोग निवास करते हैं और लगातार परेशानी का सबब है, जो वर्षों से रह रहे हैं, उनके लिए एक अपना घर छोड़कर जाना काफी परेशान भरा हो सकता है, और वो मान भी रहे हैं और लगातार मंदिर में पूजा अर्चना भी चल रही है। आइए आपसे मैं जानना चाहूंगा कि कैसे देखती हैं आज जो ये कार्रवाई हो रही है सरकार की तरफ से।
हमारा घर बच जाए करके मांगा है, सबका बचे, हिंदू क्या मुसलमान का, सबका बचना चाहिए
जी,
क्योंकि सभी की सबका ही है। बेचारों ने सबने एक एक पैसा जोड़ के बनाया है, तो वो जाएंगे कहाँ, कोई भी होए।
Viewers, time to ask some straight questions. And let me begin with the Samajwadi spokesperson tonight, Vivek Silas Saab. How are you?
I'm fine.
I want to ask you a few questions, sir.
Sure.
Don't you think your leaders are playing such an irresponsible role in creating or feeding off the insecurities of one particular community? Do you realize, sir, the damage that you're doing to the psyche? You did this during the CAA. You did this, sir, during the Ram Janambhoomi issue, after the verdict of the Supreme Court. You did this during the vaccination drive in COVID, and now on the back of a High Court order. Not once, I've shown you the facts, not once but twice. In fact, the same High Court in 2016 pulls up the Congress for playing vote bank politics, and today, sir, you are accusing the High Court of being part of some Islamophobic orientation. Isn't this, sir, very irresponsible for a national party like yours, or at least a prominent state level party like yours, sir?
I think, good evening, Rahul ji. I think it's a matter of human rights more. As your correspondent just told us.
Sir, first you need to, no, please, don't make this. Now, don't do this. If it was about human rights, you would be talking not in sectarian language, but, sir, in universal terms. Okay. You are speaking in sectarian language. Let me quote Samajwadi Party's Ameek Jamai to you, and your own leader who went today, Mr. Hassan, and the other gentleman who I just played out, who said that Sabka Saath is being undermined. That was the Congress person. S.T. Hassan says that this is a predatory exercise. How can the courts be predatory, sir, against one community? Can you just explain this to our viewers and our panelists? Yesterday you accused me of defending predatory behavior. Today I'm asking you, sir, to defend your own political party's predatory behavior. Can you give me an explanation?
No, the courts cannot be a question at all, Rahul. That is what I can say at the moment.
So when Ameek Jamai said, now they are doing this to the people of mostly Muslim community residing on railway land in Haldwani, what was he doing, sir?
I don't know what Mr. Ameek Jamai said.
He said this.
Okay. Actually, there is a definite atrocity that is being done in Uttarakhand. We cannot deny from that. But we believe in the courts.
No, so
and tomorrow, as you said,
if you believe in the courts, then how can you call it? The courts has applied its mind. Shall I read out, sir, what the judgment of the court said in this matter?
Yeah.
It is very considered, the view of the court. So are you saying that the courts commit atrocities?
No, it's not the courts that are committing atrocities.
Then who?
But actually, we believe in the judicial system of India, and tomorrow, as you said, the matter will be taken to the Honorable Supreme Court.
Then what were you doing there today? Inciting.
I'll just tell you why.
Inciting the residents to not follow the court order. Are we going to become a banana republic? Silas Saab, you need to tell the people.
No, not at all.
Kal aap kya karenge? What are you going to defend tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll just tell you.
If the courts decide tomorrow to hang a terrorist, will you stand in the way and say, no, this is a judicial execution? In fact, I think someone did say that. Wasn't it Afzal Guru? There's a pattern here, sir.
No. As far as the Samajwadi Party is concerned, Rahul ji, I can just say, whether it was the atrocities on the farmers, whether it was atrocities on the Dalits, or slaughtering of the Brahmins in Uttar Pradesh, or even the OBC's reservation, the Samajwadi Party has been sending its delegation everywhere, and Samajwadi Party has always been raising the grassroots level questions that needs to be asked from the government, because we are in opposition.
So you're doing your job as a responsible opposition by going to people and telling them that the state is acting against you because you happen to be minorities. Is that your job?
It's not just the minorities are there. As you said, there are 9 temples.
Sir, but your party is focusing. But your party is not focusing on Hindus. It is focusing on Muslims, suggesting that they live here in the majority. Let me tell you, sir, it's not just your party. Look at the Congress. Look at Mayawati. This is her tweet. An inhuman act of uprooting thousands of poor and Muslim families in the name of removal of encroachments. She is also, sir, prefacing her comments by using identity. Now, I want to open this up. We've heard Mr. Silas. I don't want to constantly, sir, badger you, but it's quite clear that you've woken up on the wrong foot today, and this is not right. Sushil Pandit, how do you see this?
I'm reminded of a slogan that I used to often hear, especially from Samajwadi cadre, "Jo zameen sarkari hai, wo zameen hamari hai." In fact, during their Halla Bol agitations, their slogan was, "Band dukaan tumhari, khuli dukaan hamari," literally threatening the shopkeepers. If they open their shops, they'll be looted. But leave that as it may. In 2016, this land grab is epic. They decided that all former chief ministers would be entitled to a free bungalow for life in the poshest area of Lucknow. And several chief ministers allotted themselves. From Samajwadi Party, both father and son allotted themselves sprawling bungalows and spent crores on them. And when Supreme Court struck it down, they enacted a law in order to legalize this loot of public estate. And finally, of course, all of us know, when they were still forced to leave, they even uprooted the water taps. Now, this is the mindset, right from the top to the lowest cadre, where they encourage people to encroach, to grab, and then give it a cloak of human rights. We've seen this in Kashmir, where jihad is given the cloak of azadi in order to look good. But this is not going to pull wool over our eyes, least of all the courts, where they were absent when the court was judging this matter. They did not present their arguments in front of court. They are going into extrajudicial ways of subverting the system. This has to be resisted. This has to be resisted in every legal, logical, public manner. And this is the duty of every citizen to do so. Otherwise, this country will go to dogs and we will have social strife.
So let me tell you, we are all concerned about human rights, but let's also consider what the court said about non-existent private rights not superseding a public need. And this is very important. It said, owing to the aforesaid reasons, we are of the view that since by the documents which had been placed on record before us and which had been analyzed by us, it could be ultimately concluded that no private need, even though it may not be existing in the instant case in relation to the interveners, could have a precedence over and above a public need, and that too on a property which has been otherwise vested with the railways as per the Khewat pertaining to 1959. And it also goes on to say the reasons why it acted, because there was a very real danger to the railway infrastructure, including threats from floods or any other natural calamity because of the illegal mining activity that is going on. Ashutosh ji, you are a political analyst of great experience. You've been a journalist. Do you believe that a political party should play the identity card on the back of what a court has ordered, and not once but twice? So the same issues have been gone over by the court not once but twice, and in the previous iteration the court said that the Congress was playing vote bank politics. I have read the quote to you. Why should we today believe the opposition when it says it's fighting for human rights.
Rahul, I think it is because of the vote bank politics that the political parties who espouse for this are there in such a bad situation today. This is a classic case for the two reasons. One, I think here the state cannot be blamed for the simple reason because the High Court has given an order, and High Court has given an order once the matter has gone to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has ordered High Court to look into the matter and decide. So state has nothing to do with it. But the bigger issue is, instead of blaming citizens, my argument is simple, that how come 11 accredited private schools were allowed to be built? How come 3 government schools were allowed to be built? How a public health center was allowed to be built? And then 10 mosques, 12 madrasas and 1 temple was allowed to be built on this period. Unless there is a serious connivance of the state, unless there is a serious connivance of a local bureaucrats. So I think if citizens have encroached on the land, there must have been a whole lot of mafia in connivance with the government or in connivance with the bureaucracy, with the Congress government, the BJP government, any government. I'm not worried about it. So what is the punishment for them?
Yes.
Why they are not asked to be
That's a very good point.
They should also be
accountability has to be affixed all around. I agree with you, Ashutosh ji, and I wish that the political parties who went today to speak to the residents or pay what is known as a visit in the interest of Sadbhavna had spoken in the same secular language that Ashutosh ji is speaking today. But they didn't. You wanted to make a point, Mr. Pandit.
Yes. No, I think he's made some very valid points, and those who have done this, as in wasted public funds in building this infrastructure, should also be taken to task. But I have a point here. When you have hundreds and thousands of your citizens living somewhere, even if illegally, there are some basic services a state is bound to provide.
Yeah.
You have to provide water, you have to provide sanitation, you have to provide health, you have to provide education before you decide whether these
Mr. Pandit, let me also tell you what the court is aware of this. It's not as if what Ashutosh ji is saying has not been registered by the court. This is what the court said. The railway administration is further directed to initiate an appropriate proceedings as against the erring persons, including the officials of the concerned establishments, for not cooperating in the process of eviction as directed above, and they would also be taken to task for establishment or allowing the encroachers by occupying the land belonging to the railways, which itself is contemplated under Indian Railways Works Manual as provided under its para 815. So the court has also said that time has come for the state to affix responsibility against its own officials who have erred. So this is a very balanced judgment, and therefore, Mr. Iyer, I want to bring you in. Abhijit Iyer Mitra is on this panel. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, what are we actually seeing here? I am finding that there is an attempt to turn this entire issue into another Shaheen Bagh 2.0, and the fact is that these people are emboldened because they know what happened.
So thanks for having me, Rahul. Good evening. This is, it isn't a suspicion you have. A certain criminal who triggered riots earlier last year against a certain BJP spokesperson has actually tweeted just that there needs to be a Shaheen Bagh 2.0 to raise this issue on every platform. So he triggered riots last year, he wants to trigger riots again this year. So this is nothing new. Now, we need to understand an encroachment as per Indian law is illegal. It leads to up to 3 months in jail. Up to 3 months in jail and 550 rupees in fine. The fine isn't big, the 3 months in jail is big. Number one. Number two, how has encroachment worked in this country? What you do is you set up a particular vote bank to go grab a certain part of land, and then you use the provision of public services, especially government services, to retrospectively legalize that seizure. So you go putting in public hospitals, public schools, etc., and then it is deemed normalized, and because it becomes a large voter segment, it then gets taken over by a certain set of people who then sell it a few years down the line to a big developer, mostly controlled by politicians for one reason or the other. You can see this pattern across the country. It is not specific to this particular state or UP or anything like that. However, there are other issues here also to consider. Now, you or I, if we buy a house, the government can take it away from us. Remember, the right to property was removed from the Constitution in 1978. A right to property is no longer considered a fundamental right since 1978. So the government can in fact take away your property for compensation. The difference is you and I will, in spite of what we paid for our houses, which would be significantly higher than the circuit rate, would only be compensated at the circuit rate. The problem here is this is encroached land.
Yes.
They did not buy the land.
Yeah.
They went there, they committed a criminal action punishable by up to 3 months in jail and going and occupying that land. And now they want alternative compensation for a criminal act to be set up.
That's a very good point, because viewers, yesterday many people had pointed out, and I had tried to draw that distinction about how irregular colonies, unauthorized colonies in Delhi were legalized by the center. Now that happened because a large number of these people actually bought the land. So in effect they were going to be punished twice over. And when that particular act was passed, Act of Parliament to legalize those unauthorized 1700 or so colonies in the national capital, this was challenged and the Supreme Court never stayed it. Viewers, it tells you here the court has gone into the facts. And Asif Sohail, despite the court, not once but twice in a span of 2016 to 2023, 5 to 8 years, you have a situation where political analysts, political parties and an ecosystem are saying that this is a motivated attack against minorities. What are you doing, sir? Are you trying to create some sort of separatist situation?
राहुल जी, थैंक यू फॉर अलाउइंग मी टू कीप माय स्टैंड. देखिए राहुल, इस जो नया भारत जो हमारे प्रधानमंत्री लीड कर रहे हैं, उस भारत में चाइना जो हो सो हिंदुस्तान की जमीन पे आ सकता है, हजारों करोड़ का लोन को राइट ऑफ कर सकते हैं, दिल्ली में रेगुलाइज कर सकते हैं, हरियाणा में 365 रिलीजियस स्ट्रक्चर को लीगलाइज कर सकते हैं. बट यहां पर हम स्कूल्स को तोड़ने की बात कर रहे हैं, मंदिर को तोड़ने की बात कर रहे हैं, कॉलेजेस को तोड़ने की बात कर रहे हैं, 4,500 घरों को तोड़ने की बात कर रहे हैं. तो जो प्रधानमंत्री ने वादा किया है तो वो घर देने के लिए, ठीक है, इट्स ए गवर्नमेंट लाइन, ठीक है, लेट्स एक्सेप्ट इट, वी ऑनर what the court has said, that we are not denying that, but what prime minister has promised everyone कि
सोहेल साहब, आपकी एनालॉजी एकदम ही नहीं, आपकी एनालॉजी इज वेरी स्ट्रेंज. सर सोहेल साहब, मेरी बात सुनिए. यू टॉक अबाउट चाइना ग्रैबिंग आवर लैंड. नो, 1 minute. So what should the Indian government do? Should they regularize that land grab or should they take the land back?
नहीं तो कर रहे नहीं ना सर, वो उसके
लिए वो अलग बात है. मैं ये आपसे पूछ रहा हूं. सबसे पहले तो आप कह रहे हैं कि चाइना has grabbed our land without any proof. Secondly, no, 1 second. Are you arguing that the government should write off Indian land grab, supposedly, allegedly grabbed by China to propitiate some human rights? Have you gone?
That's what they have already.
Have you gone completely, sir? No, 1 second. Have you gone completely today, sir, out of your mind?
देखिए, नहीं,
आप कह क्या रहे हैं?
बताइए, प्लीज टेल मी वन.
No, you tell me. Are the courts not aware? No, excuse me, sir. I am not talking about the government here. You are talking about governments. We are talking about the Indian. No, we are talking about the Indian courts.
Majority section of Sir, majority section of the people are belong to Muslim community.
There you go.
See, I'm not doing Hindu Muslim
here. Of course you are doing it. What do you mean that a majority belongs to Muslims and therefore? No, you are saying exactly. No, 1 second. You hold your thoughts. Please lower this fader. Sir, 1 minute, 30 seconds, please. Just give me, Mr. Sohail, 30 seconds. Listen now to what Amit Jamai said, viewers, Samajwadi Party. Listen, and I want to bring in Rashmi Sawant and I want to ask her, what is informing this particular sectarian point of view? Listen first, viewers.
नरेंद्र मोदी के राज में अल्पसंख्यक सुरक्षित नहीं है. हमारा ये कहना है समाजवादी पार्टी के लोगों का कि जब वो दशकों से वहां पे रह रहे हैं तो आपको उजाड़ने का कोई अधिकार नहीं है. और समाजवादी पार्टी ये जानती है कि रेलवे का जो निजीकरण है उसकी जमीनें प्राइम लैंड हैं. ये किसी न किसी पूंजीपति को देने के लिए, गरीब मुसलमानों को, गरीब कोई भी हो, उसको उजाड़ने का काम हल्द्वानी में जो हो रहा है, समाजवादी पार्टी पूछना चाहती है इस देश की हुकूमत से, शहंशाह से, कि आप उनका धर्म जो भी हो, उनके बच्चे, उनके बूढ़े, उनकी माएं रात में कड़ाके की ठंड में बैठे हैं और शहंशाह सो रहा है दिल्ली में.
Viewers, completely communalize this eviction drive. You're asking the government of the day when it is actually the courts that have taken a position.
Why the government showing a tough ear? वो अब
It is following the law of the land, sir. Asif Sohail Sahab, it is following the law of the land. Do you want your government to reduce this country to a banana republic?
ठीक है, नहीं
Tomorrow someone will go and squat inside the parliament. आप उनको दे देंगे क्योंकि बाहर ठंड है बहुत.
क्यों दिल नहीं है क्या? प्रधानमंत्री को दिल नहीं है क्या?
सर, अवैध काम कोई करे,
टूटने का दर्द जानते हैं आप. मैं आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट व्हाट्स गोइंग एवरीवेयर. इतने 4,500 लोग रोड के ऊपर मर रहे हैं, तो क्यों नहीं आ रहे हैं आगे प्रधानमंत्री? आकर बोल देना कि ये घर हम दे दे रहे हैं आपको, रेगुलाइज करेंगे हम. बता
सर, आप अपना घर ही दे दीजिए.
भाषणों में, जुमलों में बोलेंगे क्या?
आपका दिल इतना बड़ा, आप अपना घर दे दीजिए. आसिफ सोहेल साहब,
बराबर मेरा घर खुला है, आइए ना.
That's the problem. You see, viewers, here is the problem. The taxpayer, the public interest will suffer twice over because there are certain people who want to regularize an irregularity.
मैं बैठकर मुंह बंद करके नहीं.
1 minute, let me bring in 1 second. There is also the Congress MLA joins us, but before I go to him, I want to bring in Rashmi Samant. Rashmi Samant, what do you make of this argument that the government is heartless, that it has got a problem against, or the state is heartless, including the courts, has got a problem against the minority community. It wants to, in some way, change the demographics of this area so it can win elections. What do you make of this?
Well, thank you for having me here. The first point that I'd like to make is that of the eviction notices handed out, 1,000 Hindu families have been handed out eviction notices. It's not 1 or 2 families just for the sake of political propriety. 1,000 Hindu families. So the use of Islamophobia bogeyman is just being used because it's been a tried and tested method of creating outrage, not just nationally, but internationally. The moment the Islamophobia narrative is sparked in India, you find allies across the world. So that's basically what's happening here. It is being used to evoke a Shaheen Bagh-like sentiment. It is being used to create international outrage. Secondly, the land that we're talking about here is railway land. And I think we can all agree that it is a safety concern to have encroachers on railway land. It is also a key infrastructure point, and we cannot simply have encroachers building up, property on railway land, and it can lead up to serious repercussions for our very country. So I think this type of politicization by nefarious groups and acceptance of nefarious activities only goes on to show how low opposition is willing to stoop, and the kind of crimes that they're willing to unsee just to stay in power. And this is alarming to every taxpaying and a citizen of India, because the kind of opposition we have here is willing to bend backwards.
Look at this. Pawan Khera of the Congress says, our constitution doesn't distinguish on the basis of caste, religion and language. Why is the government picking and choosing? Picking and choosing what, viewers? Its targets? Is that what the Congress is saying? Look at the dog whistle here, the communal dog whistle. I want to go across to Mr. Sumit Hridayesh, Haldwani MLA. Mr. Hridayesh, in 2016, let me read out what the court said, 2017 in fact, when Harish Rawat ji was the Chief Minister of the state, Congress-ruled state. The High Court then said...
He wasn't chief.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 2017 March, the BJP had come into power.
Okay. So, sir, I'm talking about January 2017. I'm talking about January 2017. Unless he had went on holiday much before the BJP came to power, I will stand corrected. So, don't be a sophist here. Okay. January 2017, he was the Chief Minister. Okay. Now, let's come to what the court said. Owing to the certain most reckoned political shield which was then being provided by the then ruling party for its political gains to the unauthorized occupants, just to secure its vote bank, the state itself has filed a review 38 petition for no subsisting and valid reasons. It threw out, sir, your review petition in 2017 January and told that you were playing vote bank politics.
Yeah, so that is a
no,
due
one
process
second.
of law.
5 years
So if a
later,
judgment
one
comes
second,
from
one
the
second, one second, one second,
Court.
one
Due
second.
process of law.
6 years later, you are again back to playing vote bank politics? If not, explain why we should believe you today.
We are not playing vote bank politics.
Really?
I'm sorry.
So why didn't you implement the
I'm
order?
very sorry.
Why
I'll have
didn't you
to come
implement
to
the order in
location,
January
explain to
2017?
you and your viewers.
Why didn't you implement the order in January 2017?
I will have to describe to you because I am the sitting MLA from there, so I don't think you know this matter as well as me.
No, I don't know, sir,
I
but
know
the
what you're
courts
being
do.
fed,
The
but
courts
I know
do,
what
and the
really
courts
is
have
happening
ruled.
on the ground,
The
what the
courts
ground
do. Are you
reality is.
challenging the wisdom of the courts? I'm only quoting
No,
the
no,
courts,
no.
sir.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
are
need
going
to
to the
know.
Supreme Court
I don't
tomorrow,
need to
sir.
live there or no. I am quoting.
Sir, we believe in the due process of law, sir. We believe in the due process of law. That's
If you
why
believe the
we
due process
have
of
filed
law,
before
you
the
would not
Supreme
have
Court
filed. No, one
first.
second. If
The
you
Congress Party
no, one
and
second,
our
sir.
advocate is Mr. Salman.
When your
Salman
review
Joshi.
petition was dismissed according to due process of law
If you let
in
me
January
finish where I start,
2017,
I
no,
cannot
let me
argue
finish,
with
sir.
the anchor.
What
If
did
you want me to argue
the
with you, I
state
can do
say?
this all night,
The
no
state,
problem.
no, one
No
second.
problem.
The state
You want me
was
to argue?
accused. Excuse me.
I know what 2017 says, and I
Hridesh,
know what's happening in
Hridesh,
2022.
Mr. Hridesh.
And I know what's happened to the national media
One
since 2014.
Right.
So if you want me to argue, I
The
can argue
national
on this
media
basis,
since
no problem.
2014 has suddenly become anti the Congress party.
I know where you're being fed from. So if you can listen to me patiently.
Right. No, I'm not going to listen to you patiently. I'm only quoting to you the facts. So you have to listen to me and then respond to my question patiently, sir. You can choose to argue with me,
What facts do
shout
you
me
know?
down, take pot shots. I have not taken any pot shots against you, sir. I've only quoted. You can be personal with me, no problems.
No, sure.
I'm
I'll
only
listen to
quoting.
you.
I'm only, that is how, unfortunately,
I don't know you. I
that has
get
become
personal
the
with
view,
people I know.
that
I
has
don't know
become
you.
the
I'm very
practice
sorry.
view of the Congress party. It's fine. I'm in no way holding it against you. You're only following a toolkit. But let me tell you, sir, this is what the court said. The court accused you of creating a political shield. I'm quoting the court. Your petition was dismissed as having no subsisting and valid reasons, quote unquote, except for furthering your vote bank, to secure your vote bank. These are the words of the court. I'm holding it
Time
up.
I'd like to reply.
Please, go ahead.
Can I?
Yes.
Can I reply now?
Of course.
Yeah, first of all, do you know how many percentages of review petitions are dismissed in the Honorable I or Supreme Court? 99%. That is a due process of law, because your understanding of the law, I think because of these recent events, must have been slightly evolved, but we've understood this process because we faced this situation multiple times. So review petitions are duly dismissed because the same judge or the same bench, the honorable bench, are given this review petition, and obviously mostly on their grounds they stand firm on what the original decision was. So then you move to a higher court. This is what the Congress has done. So when our high court interventions did not pay any heed, we have moved to the Supreme Court. We are only saying that the Sarkar, the Rajya Sarkar, our state government, did not stake its claim to its own land.
Okay.
Now there are 5 or 6 big municipal corporations in Uttarakhand.
Okay.
Haldwani, Rudrapur, Roorkee, Haridwar, Dehradun.
Okay.
70% of the land in these municipal corporations is Nazul land,
Okay.
which
Sir.
is government land.
Sir.
And listen, it is different from railway land. And I am saying that 2/3 of this demarcation is false, because there was no joint revenue and railway demarcation.
Okay. So, Mr.
And the
Hridesh,
state government
you are
did not
absolutely
stand
right.
up for its citizens.
You are
They do
absolutely
not
right.
Want
you
to
approached the
take its
Supreme
land.
Court. Okay. You are absolutely right. You approached the Supreme Court. So then what did the Supreme Court do, viewers? Let me tell you what the Supreme Court do. The Supreme Court, when this dismissal in 2017 January was challenged in the Supreme Court, it allowed the individual petitioners in the case to file their cases once again before the appropriate benches in the High Court. And after 6 years, viewers, 2017, 2018, 2019,
Not the High
2021, 22, 23.
That's
Sir,
where you're
the
wrong,
High
sir.
Court-
You're misinformed.
1 second, sir, please. The High Court comes out.
Misinformed, sir. Not the
and
High Court, sir.
on November
Lower
1st
courts. Starting from the railway court, sir.
Right, okay. So we
Get your
even go
facts
further
straight.
down. So the matter comes again to the High Court. Fine, sir. I jumped to save time. Fair
Yes,
enough.
sir.
It sent it back to the, as I said, 1 second.
The matter
Appropriated,
doesn't come to the High Court.
benches.
There was a fresh PIL
Fine,
file.
sir. Then it went all the way
Again, you
back
haven't
up
done
to
your
the
homework right, have you?
It went up all the way back to the High Court, and the
Easier
High
for you
Court has
to,
again come to the same
your
conclusion,
truth is
not
very
once
strong.
but twice.
It's very easy for you to paint a picture the way you want it.
Okay. The fact
Okay,
is,
we'll go to the
viewers,
Supreme Court, we'll win
okay,
again.
Sumit
We
Saab,
believe in the process of
Sumit
law in
Saab,
this country,
Sumit
sir.
Saab,
We do.
Sumit Saab, please, give me 30 seconds. It's okay. I know the
नहीं
compulsion.
साहब तो आप है मैं तो सुमित ही हूँ.
नहीं,
Thank you.
देखिए, I'm not going to be in any way impolite like you have been, but it's okay. Viewers,
I
the
understand
matter
that.
goes to the Supreme Court. Eventually, after 6 years, it ends
I
up
haven't
back
been-
in the High Court. It goes through the entire rigorous process, and again, the High Court rules in favor of the railways and starts and says that in 10 days, we need an eviction. Not once, but twice. The first time, of course, it pulled up the Congress. The second, and for vote bank politics, the second time, viewers, it is also pulling up the officials who colluded to create this problem in the first place. Once again, we are back with these opportunistic politicians standing in the way, defending an illegality. Now, I leave it to you, viewers, to think this through. Tomorrow, the matter is going to be in the Supreme Court once again. Most likelihood, it will be stayed. And we'll be back through the same rigmarole. One hopes it isn't, but it might be. Let's move on, viewers. Let's move on, because there's another very big story that has been occupying the national attention, and that was on the back of a crime, a dastardly crime that was committed here in the Union capital. It's time now to stand with Anjali, a 20-year-old whose New Year turned into a gruesome nightmare. She was literally dragged to her death over 13 kilometers, but 4 days on, chilling facts of a brawl, of a betrayal, and of a character assassination plot are slowly unraveling. New revelations have put the police in the dock and has punctured holes in their star witnesses' account. Watch these 3 CCTV visuals. First, you can see Anjali's scooty zipping past the screen. In the second video, viewers, barely 40 seconds later, the Baleno car that eventually mowed her down can be seen speeding off in the opposite direction, with Anjali trapped under its wheels. That happened at 1:58 a.m. The third and most damning video from just 5 minutes later shows a police PCR van crossing completely oblivious to the heinous crime committed on its watch. The Baleno car is going, Anjali is trapped, people are shouting, the PCR passes, the PCR van passes. They are patrolling the very street where moments before Anjali's body was allegedly being dragged by a car. Now let's talk about how there are serious question marks on the versions of the 31st of December given by Anjali's friend and pillion rider Nidhi, a friend who abandoned her after the accident has suddenly surfaced and alleged that Anjali was drunk. Today, however, the post-mortem has punctured holes in the claims of the Delhi police's star witness. While the report lists over 40 sordid injuries, it found no presence of alcohol in Anjali's body. But first, let's tell you what exactly the autopsy has revealed about the gruesome and violent end of Anjali's life. Viewers, on your screens are the facts that have now emerged. And the autopsy makes it very clear that there are 40 antemortem injuries. Antemortem head injury, brain matter missing, pleural cavity open, both lungs exposed, spine injured, left femur injured, both limbs injured. We're talking about the legs, viewers. Lacerations, all sorts of inhumane wounds inflicted. The conclusion, there's no mention of alcohol trace. These are all accident-like injuries, no sexual assault-like injury, and it all conforms to the fact that the injuries were caused because the body was dragged relentlessly for kilometer after kilometer. Now, this is important to note, the lack of alcohol, because the prosecution has based its entire case on the statement of Nidhi. Listen to her claim that Anjali was drunk but insisted on driving that night, viewers. Listen.
सब कुछ मेरे सामने हुआ, एक्सीडेंट मेरे सामने हुआ। वो लड़की ने ड्रिंक कर रखी थी, इसलिए उस लड़की की इस तरह मौत हुई। पर उस लड़कों की भी गलती, उस लड़कों को पता था कि वो लड़की बिल्कुल मतलब नीचे दबी हुई है।
Well, remember, Anjali's family has refuted each and every claim that has been made by Nidhi. Today, the family said that all the allegations by Nidhi are false and baseless, and that the post-mortem report vindicates them. Listen in, viewers.
मेरी बेटी के ऊपर इल्जाम लगाया जा रहा है, निधि झूठ बोल रही है। पुलिस से बस यही डिमांड है कि उन लड़कों को पांचों को फांसी दी जाए और उस लड़की से कड़ी पूछताछ करी जाए। अगर वो भी इन्वॉल्व है तो उसे भी सजा दी जाए। तो सबसे बड़ी शिकायत मेरी यही है, वो अकेले छोड़ के कैसे आ गई, और दोनों का एक साथ एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, तो मेरी ही लड़की के क्यों इतना वो हो गया, उसके क्यों नहीं लगी।
और जो उसने दावा किया है कि मतलब उसने अल्कोहल लिया था, बट ऐसा सब कुछ झूठ है। वो पोस्टमार्टम की रिपोर्ट में सब कुछ आ चुका है, उसने कोई अल्कोहल नहीं लिया। हम पुलिस प्रशासन से रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं, निधि से सख्ताई से पेश आए, उसको इस केस के बारे में सब कुछ पता है।
एक बच्ची के साथ इतना घनन अपराध हो जाता है, वो मर जाती है, और एक बच्ची जो है वो सडनली एक साइड हीरोइन की तरह 75 घंटे 80 घंटे गायब होती है, और सडनली प्लांट होती है कि भैया मैं भी उस वाक्य में थी और ऐसा हुआ। तो मैं निधि के सारे आरोपों को बेबुनियाद बताता हूँ।
Fiery political war of words has broken out, viewers. The AAP has held a candlelight vigil in the capital demanding justice for Anjali, while the DCW chief Swati Maliwal has come out and said that Nidhi has deliberately been planted to sully the image of Anjali, and that is also a charge that has been made by the Aam Aadmi Party. Viewers, the AAP has also been claiming that one of the accused, Manoj Mittal, is a local leader of the BJP, and they believe that this attempt to tarnish Anjali's image is a way of ensuring that serious charge of murder is not slapped against Mr. Mittal. That's what is being said. Listen to some of these reactions.
कैसी दोस्त है कि इसकी दोस्त अंजलि गाड़ी के नीचे आ गई, इसके सामने आ गई, चिल्ला रही थी, रो रही थी, और ये लड़की वहां से भाग खड़ी होती है और घर में जाके सो जाती है। इसने किसी को इन्फॉर्म करने की जरूरत नहीं समझी, पुलिस को नहीं बताया, अंजलि के पेरेंट्स को नहीं बताया। उस समय ये स्कूटी उठाकर उस गाड़ी का पीछा भी तो कर सकती थी। ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ अंजलि को बदनाम करने में लगी हुई है।
पुलिस को कंट्रोल करने में होना चाहिए, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर कंट्रोल करने में होना चाहिए। बीजेपी और उनके एलजी, गृह मंत्री जी और उनके एलजी को इस बात की चिंता ही नहीं है कि उनका काम पुलिस के कंडक्ट को देखना भी है, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को देखना भी है।
This is basically planting a witness to save their neta, to save the neta of the BJP. They are trying to plant witnesses and it will weaken the case. She is claiming that the girl was drunk. The post-mortem says that there was no alcohol. This girl is trying to cast negligence on the victim herself.
This is unfortunate that in order to save those 5 criminals who have done this barbarous act, police can go to any extent to frame stories around. Now they are out to prove this girl itself wrong.
Well, let's open this up. Viewers, let's open this up. We have with us Nigat Abbas, spokesperson of the Delhi BJP, and Dr. Akashdeep Muni, political analyst who's sympathetic to the Aam Aadmi Party. Nigat Abbas, a star witness has come out, testified. How can we believe that she is credible, is reliable? Immediately in a court of law, when the cross will happen, people will say, why did you keep quiet? Why were you trying to suppress a crime? And that will be the end of her testimony. She will be cast aside. Nigat Abbas, many people believe today that she has been propped to say a few things so that the individuals, including a former BJP leader of yours that you removed from the party on the day of the crime, is shielded.
You know, we can't really do anything about the family, but the least what we can do is right now that not to politicize the entire issue. I understand there's no relevance of this girl coming out after 48 to 72 hours in front of the media trying to show that she was very, very nervous the same day when the accident had happened, and she was claiming that she was Anjali's friend. However, we do not. It's not only you. I can't agree with you more on this, Rahul, that it's not only you or somebody else. It's the entire nation which is not able to believe Nidhi right now. What is she saying? Which is the way she's walking towards the house. It seems a little. I know. I can see the nervousness in her walking while I'm watching the CCTV footage of her going back home. But clearly, I do not, can believe that she is the friend of Anjali. Reason being the way she's addressing her. Anjali, wo ladki. I haven't seen any of my friends or any of somebody else's friends addressing me or anybody else.
So
and that too when she's not even applying the word, wo ladki.
Why is the police built its case? But Ms. Abbas, why is the police built its case? Why is the police built its case around this lady?
No, allow me for 30
testimony.
Seconds. Since one day, allow me for 30 seconds. Allow me for 30 seconds. Rahul, since day one, you've been seeing, we all have been seeing, the entire nation has been seeing that we are seeing different, witnesses who are coming with different diversified stories. We aren't seeing anybody with same story. A sabji wala
No. One second. There are two principal. No. One second. There are two principal. There are two principal testimonies.
From different angles.
No, Ms. Abbas, there are two principal testimonies.
This girl has also changed.
One second. Please. There are two principal testimonies. One is by this lady, Miss Nidhi. The other one is by another eyewitness who said that he called the police PCR and they did nothing. There are two basic testimonies that he saw the body, he saw the manner in which these people with predetermination backed up, took the car over Anjali and drove off, knowing fully well that she was stuck under the chassis of the car, which proves premeditation. Till now, at least on the basis of the first witness's claims, no murder charge has been slapped against any of the accused. It is only culpable homicide, not amounting to murder, which is really manslaughter. Why?
No, see, Rahul, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. That when we see diversified stories from different witnesses, the police needs to investigate the matter. I understand the negligence of the police is just, we cannot defend the police right here, but what has happened is very brutal. And the police is investigating right now, which is why the Home Ministry has taken cognizance of the entire.
The police is investigating itself, which is in any case a conflict of interest. Optically, it looks very bad. An independent judicial inquiry should have been instituted, or a court-monitored probe into the police's own lapses should have been instituted, but that hasn't happened. It all comes back to something being suppressed. And I want to bring in Dr. Muni here. Dr. Muni, what do you make of this? You have alleged, the political party that you sympathize with has alleged that there is a cover-up, etc., etc. The BJP says, don't politicize this matter. You're doing a disservice. You're weakening the case. You're weakening the investigation. How do you respond to that?
Rahul, 22 calls were made by the eyewitness to the police. A Zomato guy saw it and went to the police station to report it, and nothing happened. We saw in the streets of Delhi that day that what happened is that irresponsibility of Delhi police specifically. 36 hours it took for Delhi police to conduct the post-mortem. It was 16 hours later that the fire was registered. Delay. Today, and then the police comes with an eyewitness, a accomplice, or whatever you say, and she starts character assassination of the victim, and she says that the victim had alcohol, while the post-mortem report has clearly suggested it is otherwise. It is, just serious lapses on the part of Delhi police, and still now, Shikharji will justify, but still now not a single head has rolled in Delhi police, and there has been no action.
Not one head is rolled. Your commitment to women's security, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, is under the scanner. Respond. Nikat Abbas.
What Akashdeep is saying right now, that BJP is trying to bury that and all of that. We need to realize that even if the girl was drunk, even if she was in a room with her boyfriend or outside the room, even if she was partying, doing whatever, that does not mean that those 5 accused will be set free. They are behind the bars.
Madam,
the charges are against them. The court.
Madam, no lessons. You will admit yourself. No lessons have been learned by the police force here. Please, since the Nirbhaya incident, which shook the nation.
I'm agreeing on the part.
So then, no, hang on. Then who's responsible for this mismanagement of the police? Who's responsible? No, 1 second. Where does this end? No, excuse me, ma'am.
Which is why inquiry and
Nigaji,
inquiry is being set up.
Nigaji,
which is why inquiry has been set up.
You can make all the politically correct statements tonight, and I will welcome them. But you need to make one. No. You can make all the politically correct statements. Nigada Bas, please, 1 second. You can say all the politically correct, nice things. But the point is, viewers, there are 3 basic facts that, 1 minute, that have not been taken into account. Number 1, 10 years, there has been no improvement in women's safety in this city. 10 years. Crime after crime. Women are stabbed in the streets, acid is thrown on their faces, moving cars come and abduct women as they return from work. It's a story that repeats itself. Not one head rolls. Police commissioners come, they make all the nice statements, and they retire. Not one of them is held up. Not one police head is even rolled now in this matter. It won't. Because there is a commission of inquiry constituted by a police person of the same force. Even if that person tomorrow comes out with a scathing report, there will be a conflict of interest, viewers. You can see the pattern. Someone needs to take responsibility and the buck has to stop. If not, at the door of the highest police official in the city, so the commissioner, then, viewers, at the door of the government that runs the police force in the capital. It's as simple as that. This is a dastardly crime. The world is talking about it. And it's happened exactly 10 years after Nirbhaya. Telling the world that India is still not a safe place for women. Yes, viewers, that's the sad truth. And my next story also focuses on that. Look how casually we treat women's security in this country. Their decency. In a shocking incident, an inebriated male passenger on an Indian Air India flight exposes himself to a female co-passenger and urinates on her. This is happening in business class. Not to say that the class makes any difference. It happens on an Air India flight from New York to Delhi. The woman alerts the cabin crew. But the Air India cabin crew did not apprehend this pervert who walked off scot-free because he must be a very important person. The flight lands in Delhi, nothing happens. For 1 month, nothing happens. This lady finally says she wants justice in a heart-wrenching letter to the Tata Group chairman. The woman narrates her traumatic experience. In the letter, she said that shortly after lunch was served and the lights were switched off, another passenger walked up to her seat completely inebriated. And I quote her now, "He unzipped his pants, relieved himself and continued to expose me to his private parts." Unquote. The woman further alleged that she was forced to sit on the soiled seat, which reeked of urine, for almost 2 hours, as no other seat in the business class cabin was available. Apparently, a fellow passenger later told her that there were seats available in the higher class. But they didn't make way for that, viewers. She had to sit there. Finally, she was given a seat that usually is used by the air stewards. Meanwhile, Air India has now issued a statement regarding the incident, stating that it is committed to providing justice to the woman passenger. And guess what Air India does? It bans this passenger, this drunk pervert, for 1 month from flying. That's all. You can molest, you can violate, sexually harass a woman, and you get a 1 month flying ban. Not even an FIR was registered, viewers, by the airline. It has now been registered almost a month later. And viewers, no arrest, not even an apology, not even a public apology. Can you believe it? An internal committee has been formed which will now probe the incident. If found guilty, action will be taken against the unruly passenger. This is what we are being told. 1 month and some days later, viewers, had this lady not had the gumption to file a complaint, this matter would have blown over. How many women must be suffering indignities such as this? So Anjali's fight, viewers, is not over. It is just beginning. Let's stand with our Anjalis. Let's stand with these hapless victims of male perversion. Time has come, viewers. News are up next.
Get it started, yeah, you know it's game time. Ain't no excuses tolerated while you can't grind. It's like an on the job, you know that team.
Hello everyone, ये है बजाज की नई पल्सर P150. In case you're wondering, 150 ऑलरेडी मौजूद है, तो इस P वर्जन को लाने का कारण क्या है, मतलब क्या है? सो कारण बहुत सारे हैं. डिजाइन को लेकर, फीचर्स को लेकर और कुछ हद तक परफॉर्मेंस को लेकर भी इस P वर्जन में बदलाव देखने को मिलते हैं. तो क्या है वो सारे बदलाव इस नई पल्सर P150 में, उन सभी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूं इस रिव्यू के अंदर. और रिव्यू के एंड में बात करेंगे 3 धांसू और 3 नॉट धांसू एलिमेंट्स मुझे क्या लगते हैं इस बजाज पल्सर P150 के बारे में. अब डिजाइन की बात करें तो यहाँ पर जो नयापन देखने को मिल रहा है, स्पेशली ओवरऑल 150 जो पल्सर है उसके मुकाबले इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिजाइन पूरी आपको ये P150 देखने को मिलेगी. लेकिन आपको ओवरऑल जो एसेंस है डिजाइन का वो इसमें N160 वाला देखने को मिलने वाला है. फ्रंट हालांकि अलग है यहाँ पे, लेकिन अब इसमें P150 में प्रोजेक्टर हेडलैम्प्स दिए गए हैं एंड इसमें DRLs भी यहाँ पर इसमें देखने को मिलते हैं. अग्रेसिव, स्पोर्टी एंड शार्प एलिमेंट्स इसके डिजाइन में यहाँ पर देखने को मिल रहे हैं. एंड साइड प्रोफाइल जो ओवरऑल है वो आपको N160 वाला ही झलक थ्रू आउट इसके साइड प्रोफाइल में देखने को मिलने वाला है. टैंक से लेकर इसके रियर पैनल्स यहाँ तक जो जाते हैं तो ओवरऑल वो लुक कुछ वैसा ही है, लेकिन अग्रेसिव और शार्प काफी है इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिजाइन पहले के मुकाबले लग रही है. देन पल्सर की बड़ी सी ब्रांडिंग यहाँ दी गई है एंड यहाँ काउल अलग से देखने को मिल रहा है टैंक पे. एंड देयर इज बेली पैन जो यहाँ पे नीचे दिया गया है, जो बॉडी कलर के हिसाब से दिया गया है. एंड P150 की ब्रांडिंग यहाँ पर इसमें देखने को मिल रही है. सीट जो है इसमें स्प्लिट सीट्स आती हैं. इसमें 2 वेरिएंट हैं, SD और TD. एंड जो इसका स्टार्टिंग वेरिएंट है SD उसमें सिंगल सीट है. इसमें जो है जो टॉप वेरिएंट है इसका उसमें TD सीट दी गई है. दोनों वेरिएंट में जो अंतर हैं कुछ मैं बताता हूँ आपको कौन कौन से हैं. एक तो सीट का हो गया, दूसरा ये जो वर्जन है इसमें क्लिप ऑन हैंडल बार्स आते हैं थोड़ा स्पोर्टी स्टांस के लिए. लेकिन जो SD वर्जन है उसमें जो है सिंगल फ्रेम दिया गया है हैंडल बार का, तो वो थोड़ा अपराइट पोजीशनिंग के साथ उसका स्टांस रखा गया है. एंड उसके अलावा जो ब्रेक्स हैं, डिस्क ब्रेक्स हैं, इसमें जो है ड्यूअल डिस्क ब्रेक मिलती हैं एंड दूसरे वेरिएंट में सिंगल डिस्क ब्रेक दी गई है. सिंगल चैनल ABS दोनों ही वेरिएंट में मिलता है, उसमें कोई कटौती नहीं करी गई है. एंड ये कुछ चेंजेस यहाँ पर इन टर्म्स ऑफ बोथ वेरिएंट्स इन दोनों
बाइक. ऑन द शो टुनाइट व्यूअर्स.
A 22-year-old was mowed down by a truck after she fell from a vehicle while trying to avoid a pothole on a road near Chennai. Karnataka leader of opposition Siddaramaiah said that the Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai and other leaders are like puppies in front of Prime Minister Modi and shiver in his presence.
इन केस आप मिलेनियन वाली जनरेशन से हैं तो आपने शायद वो गाना सुना होगा, देखा जो तुझे यार दिल में बजी गिटार. सो कुछ ऐसे अगर आप मूड में हैं तो यहाँ पे ये गिटार की स्ट्रिंग्स टाइप दी गई हैं एग्जैक्टली स्ट्रेंथ नहीं है, बट ऐसे कुछ मूड में है तो आप इनका इस्तेमाल उस समय जरूर कर सकते हैं। अब आप समझ गए होंगे कि गाड़ी कौन सी है। हाल ही में इसका लॉन्च हुआ था, ये है BYD की Atto 3 और क्या परफॉर्मेंस, क्या रेंज, क्या डिजाइन, क्या फीचर्स BYD अपने इस इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल में दे रहा है, उन सभी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूं इस वीडियो में। और वीडियो के अंत में हमेशा की तरह बात करेंगे 3 धांसू और 3 नॉट धांसू एलिमेंट्स मुझे क्या लगे इस BYD Atto 3 के बारे में। तो चलिए शुरुआत करते हैं। तो शुरुआत कर लेते हैं इस Atto 3 के डिजाइन वाले एस्पेक्ट से। तो फ्रंट में BYD कहना है ये गाड़ी का डिजाइन जो है ओवरऑल ड्रैगन इंस्पायर्ड है, चाइनीज ब्रांड है, तो कुछ वैसा ही एसेंस BYD कह रही है हमने इस गाड़ी के डिजाइन और स्टाइलिंग में देने की कोशिश करी है। हालांकि ड्रैगन इंस्पायर्ड तो मुझे फ्रंट ज्यादा नहीं लग रहा है, बट फिर भी यहाँ पे सेंटर में बड़ा सा BYD का लोगो है, क्रोम का एलिमेंट दिया गया है थ्रू आउट जो जाता है इसके फ्रंट हेडलाइट के ऊपर से सेंटर तक। एंड हेडलाइट जो है क्रिस्टल LED कॉम्बिनेशन लाइट्स यहाँ पर इसमें देखने को मिल रही है। एंड DRL देख रहे हैं, देखने में खूबसूरत ही काफी लग रहा है। इसका फ्रंट जो लाइट का सेक्शन है काफी स्लीक कॉम्पैक्ट इसका हेडलाइट का डिजाइन लग रहा है। एंड जो
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining me on the News Hour tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bharat Jodo Yatra, many are seeing and questioning what is the message in this Bharat Jodo Yatra for the Congress party and for Rahul Gandhi. Is it an image makeover? Is it a relaunch of Rahul Gandhi into Indian national politics? Is it a political statement that the Congress party wants to give through Rahul Gandhi? Or is it portraying him as a serious player, an image that hasn't really been inculcated just because on many key occasions Rahul Gandhi has not even been present in the country to represent his party and take forward the issues being raised by the opposition. So what is the Bharat Jodo Yatra all about, and what is it going to achieve in the run up to 2024 elections? The question that's really top of the mind in many of the citizens' discussions. Let's take a look at what one can learn from what's going on in Rahul Gandhi's mind by these 3 statements made by him in the recent past.
जिन्होंने हिंदुस्तान के 20 जवानों को शहीद किया, जो हमारे जवानों को अरुणाचल प्रदेश में पीट रहे हैं, मैंने कहा हिंदुस्तान की प्रेस मुझसे इनके बारे में एक सवाल नहीं पूछेगी।
ये सावरकर जी की चिट्ठी है जिसमें उन्होंने अंग्रेजों को लिखा है, और मैं सिर्फ आखिरी लाइन पढ़ना चाहता हूँ। अंग्रेजी में लिखी है तो मैं अंग्रेजी में बोल देता हूँ। आई बेग टू रिमेन सर योर मोस्ट ओबीडियंट सर्वेंट। सावरकर जी ने अंग्रेजों की मदद की थी।
मुझे चिट्ठी लिखी कि कोविड आ रहा है, यात्रा बंद करो, कोविड आ रहा है, यात्रा बंद करो। अब भैया मतलब अब देखिए, अब यात्रा को रोकने के लिए बहाने बन रहे हैं।
Anjali's family has refuted Nidhi's allegations and said that the post-mortem vindicates their stand. Listen into the family.
मरे और जिए हैं अगर, तो मुझे ये बताइए, इतिहास आपसे पूछता है कि जब 3 हिंदू, टीकालाल टपलू, जस्टिस नीलाकांत गंजू, जब जर्नलिस्ट प्रेमनाथ भट्ट को शूट कर दिया था और ये सितंबर 1989, अक्टूबर 1989, दिसंबर 1989 जब आप मुख्यमंत्री थे तो आपने क्या
इंटरव्यू फॉर
तो आपने
इंटरव्यू फॉर
माई इंटरव्यू इज फॉर आस्किंग अबाउट कश्मीर।
आई एम नॉट रेडी टू गिव हर इंटरव्यू। शी इज टोटली
तो आप
वन साइडेड बीजेपी पर्सन।
मैं बीजेपी की हूं और कश्मीरी हिंदू किसके हैं? आपके नहीं है, आपके नहीं है फारूक अब्दुल्ला साहब। फारूक अब्दुल्ला साहब कश्मीर पे सवालों के जवाब नहीं देना चाहते, कश्मीरी हिंदुओं के सवालों के जवाब देना ही नहीं चाहते।
There are many people, sir, who are also questioning. No, Mr. Dulat, why are you getting up? I am not done, Mr. Dulat. That was only the first question, Mr. Dulat. I think, Mr. Dulat needs some time to introspect on things that he's written and said about in the past, which is why he could not take direct questions on Times Now viewers. We'll try again. We'll try and speak to Mr. Dulat if he wants to take these questions. But for the moment, we are helpless. What can we do? Mr. Dulat could not take our direct questions and he's left the interview abruptly.
And the BJP, of course, has come out all guns blazing, targeting both the Congress and Rahul Gandhi. Listen in.
So your reaction to A.S. Dullat joining Bharat Jodo Yatra? It's quite unfortunate that people who are inimical to India's interests have been part of Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. No one ever accused Dullat of being committed to either the job that he held or the country he was meant to serve. He's known to have supped with secessionists and Pakistan's deep state. He has a monumental role in the Kashmir fiasco. To have someone like him as part of Bharat Jodo Yatra shows Rahul Gandhi's real intent. And let's not forget, Congress has always been soft on the Kashmir issue.
And to top it all, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has come out and called her brother and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi as a yodha in the battle of fortunes in the political sweepstakes, and has also alleged that the government has spent through its agencies 1,000 crore rupees to destroy the image of Rahul Gandhi. Listen in.
मेरे बड़े भाई, इधर देखो, सबसे ज्यादा गर्व तुम पर है। क्योंकि पूरा सत्ता का जोर लगाया गया। सरकार ने 1000 करोड़ रुपए खर्चे इनकी छवि को खराब करने के लिए, लेकिन ये सच्चाई से पीछे हटे नहीं। इन पे एजेंसियां लगाई गई, ये डरे नहीं, योद्धा है, योद्धा है।
So the legitimate question that I'm asking on the News Hour tonight is just this: is Rahul Gandhi winning or losing the perception battle through the Bharat Jodo Yatra? That's the question, and that's the debate on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me on the debate tonight, Shehzad Poonawala, national spokesperson of the BJP, also joining us this evening. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, scientist. Suhail Seth, marketing guru, joins the debate tonight. Lokesh Jindal, leader of the Congress party. And my friend Sanjay Jha, suspended leader of the Congress party and author, also joining me tonight. Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. Lokesh Jindal, to you first. 1,000 crores, do you think is loose change for somebody to spend on destroying the image of Rahul Gandhi? Because Rahul Gandhi really has to create or not create his own image on his own. He said in Parliament that he would spread love, and however much anybody hated him, he would spread politics of love, went and hugged the Prime Minister, came back in his seat, and then winked at people. So, you know, what is somebody else got to do with his own image? He went and said that RSS had murdered Mahatma Gandhi, and then took back that statement in a court of law. He called the Prime Minister Chaukidar Chor hai, and then went to Supreme Court and apologized for it. Do you think the BJP needs to spend 1,000 crores to destroy Mr. Rahul Gandhi's reputation and image?
Yes, good evening, Navika. Yes, the manner in which BJP doctored his speeches was selective in trying to portray what Rahul Gandhi ji was saying, and the manner in which it was interpreted and it was publicized. Yes, the BJP had in its agenda one core idea so as to misrepresent Rahul Gandhi and to create a false image amongst the masses. See, when we are talking about BJP and Congress, there is a fundamental difference between both the political parties. BJP is a cadre regimentized political party, and Congress is a mass-based political party, which often over a period of time turns into a leader-based organization. And time and again we have seen that all forms of mechanisms have been like Kamraj plan and all were proposed so as to rejuvenate it back into mass-based organization. Now this yatra that is being carried out by Rahul Gandhi ji is basically an attempt to rejuvenate it into a mass-based organization, to get the touch with the masses, to get a direct touch with the masses. The image that had been distorted by BJP should be again brought about a real face of Rahul Gandhi, of his compassion, of his ideology, of his ideas, his vision, directly to the masses is being conveyed. That is what is the entire objective about the Bharat Jodo Yatra. So yes, BJP has done.
Shehzad Poonawalla, are you clearer about the objectives of the Bharat Jodo Yatra now? Is the Congress party a mass-based party, a leader-based party, or somewhere in between? Have you been able to decipher the objectives of the Bharat Jodo Yatra?
These public meetings have now been arrested and sent to judicial custody.
Party and Congress is a banner-based party. It is an advertising-based party, and therefore all it has done is advertise, but this time the product is bad. So the product is refused, ideology is confused, and the march is also pretty much diffused. On the one hand, Rahul Gandhi says कि मैं 2800 किलोमीटर चला, नफरत कहीं नहीं दिखी, सुअर, कुत्ते, बिल्ली, डोंकी सारे साथ में थे. दूसरी ओर कहते हैं कि भारत टूटा हुआ है. अब इन्होंने कहा कि वी आर डॉक्टरिंग द स्टेटमेंट. नाविका जी, ये स्टेटमेंट है राहुल गांधी का. अब मुझे लोकेश जी बता दे कि ये डॉक्टर्ड स्टेटमेंट है या डॉक्टर्ड थॉट प्रोसेस है. सुनिए.
जो हमारे जवानों को अरुणाचल प्रदेश में पीट रहे हैं, जो हमारे जवानों को अरुणाचल प्रदेश में पीट रहे हैं.
अब बताइए कि अरुणाचल प्रदेश में जवानों को पीट रहे हैं, तो ये कोई इमेज की इशू नहीं है. दिस इज नॉट एन इशू ऑफ इमेज, इट इज एन इशू ऑफ इंटेंट, एंड द इंटेंट इज दैट बिकॉज दे फील परिवार हित इज ओवर एवरीथिंग, दल हित इज ओवर एवरीथिंग, दे फॉर द सेक ऑफ मोदी विरोध एंड अप इन देश विरोध. एंड देयरफॉर टुडे द पीपल ऑफ दिस कंट्री आर रिजेक्टिंग अ प्रोडक्ट. बार बार एक जो प्रोडक्ट जिसको कोई खरीदने वाला नहीं बचा है, उसको रीलॉन्च करके वो प्रोडक्ट बिकेगा, ऐसी उम्मीद करना मूर्खता है. इसमें कोई खर्च करने की आवश्यकता नहीं है. टेल मी दैट इज इट नॉट ट्रू दैट राहुल गांधी हैज मेड स्टेटमेंट सेइंग कि मंदिर में जाने वाले लोग लड़कियों को छेड़ते हैं? इज इट नॉट ट्रू दैट द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ राहुल गांधी एंड सोनिया गांधी से राम जी का अस्तित्व नहीं? तो इनके कृत्य ऐसे हैं, देयर एक्शंस आर सच दैट वी डू नॉट नीड टू डू एनीथिंग. दे देमसेल्व्स आर टुडे एक्सपोजिंग देमसेल्व्स.
You prove my point when I say statement.
Well, Mr. Sanjay Jha, my question is straight off to you, and the question I want to ask you is simply this: 18 years in politics, 2004 when Rahul Gandhi entered. In 2014, there was no BJP spending money to show Rahul Gandhi down. In 2019, do you think it was them showing Rahul Gandhi down, which is why the Congress party lost both of these elections? And today, 18 years later, do you think he's closer to, revamping his image through Bharat Jodo than he was before? If it is a mass-based party, and if Rahul Gandhi and the Gandhi Parivar has ruled this country with so many mass-based cadre people with them, why do they keep losing elections? Why Why is blame on the BJP on spending 1,000 crores to destroy the image of Rahul Gandhi?
Navika, first and foremost, I think we have to acknowledge that where the Bharat Jodo Yatra has definitely made a remarkable impact is on the sensibilities of the very arrogant BJP. If you heard their spokesperson right now, sounds palpably rattled. And I think, any intelligent observer of Indian politics will tell you, Navika, and this is evident in terms of our political history, that no political party in the world, including the great Mr. Narendra Modi, can take any election result forecasted for granted. There is no assured winner of any election. 2024 is still several months away. Anything can happen. I'm very optimistic that you might see a very surprise performance from the opposition. But the larger point has to be this: Bharat Jodo means unite India. And I believe it's not just about Rahul Gandhi and the Congress. I think every secular, liberal, true Indian must see an India which is not fractured, fissured, or being broken the way the BJP has done to India in the last 8 years. I don't think we need to beat about the bush here. I can quote the Supreme Court on hate speech. I can quote the Supreme Court on multiple judgments. At least the highest judiciary cannot be questioned by anybody on the panel. Therefore, let's accept the reality. India is seeing hate speeches. India is seeing communal polarization. India is seeing religious bigotry. And it is all because of the majoritarian appeasement politics which is being played out in a very brazen fashion. I do believe that Rahul Gandhi, if today the BJP, Mr. Poonawalla calls him a pappu, he's only going to help Mr. Gandhi's political brand. He's going to help the Congress party. The BJP actually has been, in my opinion, bearded in their own den. The truth, Navika, and I have been in the Congress for a long time to tell you, Rahul Gandhi did make mistakes. He did make many observations without realizing that when you are a public figure, there will be a significant import of what you say. You may have said it in the most pure intent, but if the context is not right or the semantics are inappropriate, it will boomerang on you. But having said that, there is no denying that the BJP has run a malicious campaign using fake news to destroy many people. I have no problem if Shehzad and the BJP attack Rahul for something that he says that they don't agree with philosophically or politically. But to use fake news, morphed videos to destroy somebody's reputation, I think the BJP has taken politics.
Okay. Let me come in there. You talk about quotes, you talk about fake news, you talk about statements attributed to Rahul Gandhi which he never made. Let me get in Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Did Rahul Gandhi not call the Prime Minister Chaukidar Chor hai without any evidence? Did he not actually go and apologize? Was that fake news? Did he not say that RSS is responsible for the murder of Mahatma Gandhi and then retracted his statement? Is that fake news? Did he not go and hug the Prime Minister and then sat in his seat and winked? That was fake news. What are the charges that Dr. Sanjay Jha is making, number one? And number two, when he says that the BJP is trying to demonize Rahul Gandhi, what about Mr. Rahul Gandhi? Did he not tear up the ordinance of his own Prime Minister passed by the UPA cabinet? Did that add to the credibility of Rahul Gandhi?
Good evening, Navika. Look, this whole idea, the suggestion by Ms. Priyanka Gandhi that BJP is funding and giving 1,000 crores to destroy the image of Rahul Gandhi. I mean, it's preposterous, because why would a party spend 1,000 crores to destroy the image of a man when that man is doing it for free? It's like creating a nuclear explosion. You manufacture a tsunami to sink the Titanic. अरे भाई वो आइसबर्ग से टकरा चुका है, वो अपने आप डूबने वाला है भाई, वेट कर लो थोड़ा सा. But one thing she is absolutely right. That 1,000 crore figure is correct, because I bet you the entire Bharat Jodo Yatra is being financed by the BJP, right from providing the cocktail samosas to getting the people onto the roads for this Jodo Yatra, because it is uniting Bharat against the Congress. But to be serious, Navika, there is a reason why Modi keeps winning, because the opposition, primarily the Congress and Rahul Gandhi, rather than castigating this government for its populist policies, is hell-bent on destroying this country through implementing them. Now, Tehseen is here. I remember on the date when the election results came out, he credited Himachal's victory of the Congress to Priyanka and Rahul Gandhi both. So give me a couple of minutes, because I want to get serious here. Otherwise, we can keep on talking semantics and political statements and rhetoric. I want to give you this example. And I want to quote data to you, and I will tell you why this is important and why Modi keeps winning. The latest example is of Himachal. Because Navika, the easiest promises to keep are the ones backed with certain debt. This reverting to the old pension scheme. Give me a couple of minutes, because this is a poll promise of the Congress that has now turned to power in Himachal, and this will ruin the state's economy. Generations to come would suffer. But does that matter to Rahul Gandhi? Does that matter to Priyanka Gandhi? Does that matter to the Congress? What is telling is that the new pension scheme was implemented by the Congress and the UPA in 2005. After it was proposed by Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, there occurred extensive deliberations. The then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh was a votary of it. It was planned and executed under the aegis of Dr. Montek Singh Ahluwalia of the Congress. But of course, Rahul Gandhi knows more economics than Dr. Manmohan Singh and Dr. Montek Ahluwalia, isn't it? Just like on farm reforms, this is another shameless U-turn by the Congress. Himachal's committed expenditure that includes pensions has increased from 17,000 to 23,000 crores in the last 5 years. Expenditure on pensions has increased to 6,000 crores, almost 80% of Himachal's own tax revenues, Navika. The Finance Commission is called reverting to the OPS as an injudicious step. Congress's own Montek Singh Ahluwalia has said that old pension scheme would lead to a physical disaster for states, and that quote, bringing back OPS is the biggest revenue or freebie invented, unquote. Just a minute. Himachal's debt to GDP is already 43%. It will rise soon to that of Punjab that has reverted to the OPS already under half, and its debt to GDP ratio is 53%. OPS is populism gone berserk. It is Bharat Todo on a grand scale. It puts the onus of paying pensions of the previous generations of workers to the present generation of workers, with the carrot being the assured benefit of 50% of the last drawn salary. I ask you, when the Supreme Court can come in and deliberate on farm reforms and laws, why is it silent on the red old pension scheme? Something that both the Congress and the BJP governments of yesteryears had not only proposed to get rid of, but actually managed to get. Just 10 seconds, Navika. The pension expenditure has risen from 2% of revenue receipts in 1980 to 20% now. How on earth are we allowing this beggar's belief? And the sad fact is that we are cursed with electing either louts or Luddites, or watching them walk around India aimlessly.
But Anand Ranganathan, I'm sorry, good economics, if it doesn't win you elections, then what use is it, is the statement that political parties are going to make. Because at this moment, after having lost 2 Lok Sabha elections, it's a do or die situation for the Congress party, which in any case has been marginalized in the country's politics. Regional parties looking more strong than the Congress at this point of time. Nobody wants to ally with the Congress, and therefore, if you talk economics rather than Bharat Jodo Yatra, it's really not going to make any difference.
Ask Tehseen, why is Congress going back against what was implemented by Dr. Manmohan Singh and Dr. Montek Singh Ahluwalia? Simple question. I hope Tehseen will answer this.
But why are you even asking? Rahul Gandhi had torn up the ordinance passed by the Manmohan Singh cabinet and Manmohan Singh himself. So no surprises there. But let me get in Sohail Seth. Mr. Sohail Seth, the question here is, forget the policies, because on policies, Rahul Gandhi also came up in 2019 with another policy of, the subsistence living, policy that he wanted to give to everybody, but still didn't win the elections. The question here is the Bharat Jodo Yatra. While communal, polarization is spoken about by Dr. Sanjay Jha, he doesn't talk about the fact that communal polarization was seen even in Kashmir. But Rahul Gandhi is walking with Mr. Dullat and Mr. Farooq Abdullah, who have till date not answered what happened under their watch. Neither has the Congress in Jammu and Kashmir in the 90s. So I come back to the question. Very well to point fingers at the BJP and Prime Minister Modi. What about their own track record, number one, and number two? Why do you agree with Dr. Ranganathan that does the BJP really need to invest 1,000 crores to destroy the image of Rahul Gandhi?
So let me begin by congratulating Sanjay Jha for his Darwinian evolution with each program. From suspended Congress member, he is now Dr. Sanjay Jha. I don't know what the doctorate is in, but I'm assuming it's a valid doctorate. Sanjay made three very critical points. Number one, he talked about communalism, he talked about religious bigotry, and he talked about hatred. Let's assume all three are true. You know this better, Sanjay, and I hope you do, which I think you do, that messaging is very important in any political ecosystem. What is even more important is the consistency of messaging. Let's stick with point number three that you made, this cauldron of hatred that is being spewed in India. If that is the case, then you tell me, how is Rahul Gandhi's message when he says that when I walked these 2,800 kilometers, I only saw love and no hatred? This is a contradiction in terms. Now I can understand the context. Keep your finger down, it will come. Let Navika, your finger is very distracting. Lokesh Jindal says that this whole Bharat Jodo has been to rejuvenate the Congress, to make it a mass party, to, revive the fortunes, and to establish Rahul Gandhi's leadership. When I last checked, Rahul Gandhi was a human being. He isn't a tube of Fevicol that he's supposed to attract people, or a magnet where people suddenly, get united, blah, blah, blah. On a serious note, and I'm saying this dispassionately, I wrote about it also, so I can't be a hypocrite. I said that there is a certain makeover of Rahul Gandhi, and I genuinely felt that makeover was happening. That the sobriquet Pappu was no longer relevant, and I stand by that. I believe he has moved away from that Pappu sobriquet. Did the BJP harm him? Of course, but the BJP is not attending a birthday party, it's a political party. It's not the business of Narendra Modi to get a shopping bag every morning and go to Khan Market looking to buy an opposition. Their job is to win elections, as is the Congress's. Lokesh, my simple point is consistency of messaging in any political format is critical. If you believe that this country is being divided or is being, consumed by hatred, then stick to that message. Number one. Number two, I've said this on Navika's program earlier and I will repeat. India has changed. A lot of the young in India don't even remember Mrs. Gandhi or her contribution, or for that matter, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. A lot of people believe, and this is maybe Modi's narrative, that this is not the India of entitlement anymore. This is the India of meritocracy. Perhaps Rahul has all the merit, but the perception amongst the people is that this is an entitled family affair. Modi fans the flames by saying Parivarvad, and he should. He's actually there to win an election. Third point, the job of any political party, Sanjay, Lokesh, Tehseen, Anand, Shehzad, is to win elections. And it is to be true to the nature of the political system that you operate in. Tearing up an ordinance, as Manmohan Singh is taking giant steps to the Oval Office to meet the then President of the United States, you insult your own sitting Prime Minister. You insult a Prime Minister who your party has appointed as Prime Minister. That's number one. Number two, you talk about the sacrosanct nature of India's democracy and therefore India's parliament. You choose not to attend parliament. You tell me, what are the signals that you send out? These, to my mind, are worrying signals. Having said all of that, you're right. No one can predict what will happen in 2024. But I can only make one prediction. India's next Prime Minister will not be Rahul Gandhi. For another reason. There is no consensus amongst politicians of the opposition qua him. Akhilesh Yadav, who was an ally of Rahul Gandhi's, made a statement that I wasn't even invited to the march. So my point is, if Bharat Jodo was meant to achieve what the objectives that Sanjay Jha and Lokesh Jindal have said, till now it hasn't achieved. The only objective it has achieved is that people have begun to see Rahul Gandhi in a different light. But this is not theater. We're not lighting up the stage for different lighting moments. We are preparing for battle. Means the Congress is preparing for battle. They have to understand that if they need to win an election, Sanjay or Lokesh, they must rally the people. They must understand the nerve of this country, and they must get out of this elitist, entitled mindset and realize this is a new India for new Indians, for a new future, emphasizing a new hope.
Navika, can I quickly respond?
Well, Tehseen, you can't fault that. I'm coming to you, Dr. Jha, but Tehseen hasn't spoken. So Tehseen, the question here, okay, Miss, are you Dr. Jha or Mr. Jha? Would you want to clarify that, Sanjay Jha?
Can I answer that? Yeah. Unlike some people, I don't flaunt my educational qualifications, especially if they belong to something called as entire political science. Nobody even knows what the Prime Minister's qualifications are. Mine are more transparent, Suhail. I happen to be a PhD. Actually, Navika is the only anchor. Actually, Navika, let me finish. Sorry. Actually, Navika is the only anchor who's actually taken the trouble to know what are the credentials of the person that she's called on her program, and I really have been grateful. Otherwise, I would have actually contradicted Navika a long time back that don't use that title for me. It's inappropriate. It's not. I am actually a student of economics, and I stand corrected. At a very advanced level. Thank you very much.
I stand corrected.
I think it's Tehseen's turn to talk, and I will.
Have you spent 1,000? No. Sohail said, have you spent 1,000 crores to damage the image of Dr. Sanjay Jha?
I just want to segue to that point of 1,000 crores. Again, Priyanka Gandhi, the intent or the context of what she was saying may have some merit. But to say that the BJP has spent thousands of crores on damaging, my point, Sanjay and Lokesh, is the Congress has the money. The Congress has the clout, and the Congress has great loyalists.
Whether you are a communications guru, it is a metaphor.
No, hear me out.
So Tehseen Poonawalla,
you also have that amount of money. You also have the amount of money. Why don't you spend it?
Why don't you spend it? Don't you know it's a metaphor?
Exactly. Tehseen Poonawalla, respond.
Exactly what I said.
No, you can use the money. After all, you have the same troll armies that operate for other political parties, and your troll armies target people all the time, including me. So Tehseen Poonawalla, पैसा आपके पास भी है, पैसा आप भी लगाओ. If you are accusing somebody of, spending money to destroy your image, use the money to build your image if it's all about spending money. So Tehseen, answer on a serious note. What is the message of Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo? Because on different occasions, it's different things. Sometimes it's about Savarkar. Sometimes it is about Jawan Peet Gaye. Sometimes, it is just about there is so much hatred, and then the next day it is there is no hatred. Everybody is part of this great country called India. What is the message?
So, Navika, I'm grateful that I finally got an opportunity. Just two parts to your question. Number one, the BJP is a pathological confidence trickster that cannot see a belt without hitting below it. And therefore, in the very same Bharat Jodo Yatra, the BJP from its official karyakartas and official office bearers tweets a fake picture of Bhavar Jitendra Singh tying Rahul Gandhi's lace and titles his entitlement when that was not true. The same Bharatiya Janata Party lied about the Alu Sona comment, which was actually made by the most honorable Prime Minister. And to put the fact into perspective, the honorable Home Minister of India is on record saying we can spread any fake news in the world, it will go viral. Such is our reach. This is the BJP's fake machinery. Therefore, I call it Deen Dayal Upadhyay WhatsApp University. Now, to your question, what does Bharat Jodo want to achieve? And Sohail's contradiction. Sohail, there is no contradiction in what Rahul ji said. I filed a police complaint which got converted to the FIR against Pragya Singh Thakur, who said the most hateful things in Karnataka. And the most honorable Prime Minister told Navika personally and in an interview that from his heart he will never forgive Pragya Singh Thakur. The common man, Sohail, you and I, Anand and I, Shehzad and I, Lokesh and I, Sanjay and I have no hatred for each other. But Pragya Singh Thakur and people like that sanctioned from the top who continue to spread hate, to create divide, and that is not being acted on, is what Rahul Gandhi is fighting against. That is the contradiction that Rahul Gandhi is trying to bring in, that Sohail and Tehseen don't hate each other, but this hate is being manufactured. It's being manufactured to polarize our society, and the only beneficiary of this polarization is
Shehzad is responding to you. Shehzad will respond to Tehseen.
Navika, if I may.
By that, 1 minute, Shehzad, by that logic, Tehseen, you are contradicting yourself again, my friend. If you and I love each other, which we do, then whether BJP manufactures hate or doesn't, it's not hitting us. They are doing a bad job then of manufacturing hate. So then where's the logic?
But you've got to call out hate. You've got to call it out. You cannot allow an elected member, and that's what Rahul Gandhi is doing. When he's saying Bharat Jodo, is calling out the hate, which is our responsibility. When the BJP president in Karnataka before an election says, don't ask about sewers, don't ask about roads, don't ask about development, talk about women and love jihad. That's the only thing. That is creating fear and paranoia. That should be called out.
Navika, may I please come in? I've been very...
All right, Shehzad, respond.
Navika, first of all, you can apply lipstick on a pig, but it still remains a pig. That's what Obama had once said, and I think it applies to the situation we're talking. I'm not calling anybody a pig necessarily. But having said that, let me talk about the hypocrisy at play here. Those who have been responsible for 1984, those who have been responsible for Hashimpura, Bhagalpur, Meerut, Malyana, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Jalgaon, those who accused Uddhav Sena and his father of orchestrating the Mumbai riots came up with the Shri Krishna report. Those who've been behind the Muzaffarnagar riots are or were in power when the Muzaffarnagar riots took place are today lecturing about hate and nafrat in this country. So in that sense, would you say that a statement made by a Prime Minister ki bada ped girta hai, dharti hilti hai, is that a statement that was pushing nafrat, or that was a statement that was against nafrat? So and then he quoted the Member of Parliament also. Well, the Member of Parliament made a statement, and it is a statement that perhaps he has demanded action against, but what has the same panelist done? When another Member of Parliament got up in a Samaroh of Dalits and said to the Una victims that agar main aapki jagah hota to main chaku lekar maar deta. So now I want to ask the respected panelists, did he file a complaint against that MP who said that I would have killed the person and I would have used the knife if he filed a complaint against the person who said sharpen the knives? I think there should be no double standards. Now thirdly, look, some of the doctors here, spin doctors or otherwise, have spoken about the impact the yatra is having on the sensibilities of the BJP. I think it should first discuss about the impact it is having on the sensibilities of Nakul Nath and on the sensibilities of the Vipaksh. अरे भाई, आपके कांग्रेस के नेताओं के सेंसिबिलिटीज पे क्या इसका इम्पैक्ट है? 52 कांग्रेस लीडर्स left in Balia. Telangana Congress leaders have left. People have left from Goa ever since this yatra started. There is fighting between Pilot and Gehlot in Rajasthan. There is fighting between DKS and Siddaramaiah in Karnataka. अरे भाई, कांग्रेस तो जोड़ो. पहले तो कांग्रेस छोड़ो चल रहा है, आप भारत जोड़ने की बात कर रहे हो. विपक्ष तो जोड़ो. विपक्ष तो जुड़ नहीं रहा है, आप बोल रहे हो भारत जोड़ने की बात है. भाई, you first talk about whether it is having any impact on Akhilesh Yadav and on Nakul Nath. And finally, look, the difference fundamentally is not about image. It is about intent, and the intent comes from two aspects. One, the product. What is our product? The product is that we have a mission and a vision for the country. And what is the product on the other hand? The other hand, the product is one who is talking about commission, corruption, division, and only obstruction by doing U-turns which have been described by Anand Ranganathan. Finally, I have just one last question to add. What is the big grand plan that they have for the revival and rejuvenation of the party? 18 days are spent in Kerala, where the BJP doesn't have much of a presence, and only 3 days in Uttar Pradesh, where the BJP has the biggest presence. So this in itself shows this is not a yatra for rejuvenation of the party or a yatra for so-called Bharat Jodo. It is a yatra for PM Pad se Rahul ko jodo, and that all it is. And therefore Kamal Nath has also accepted that it is about positioning Rahul Gandhi.
Lokesh Jindal, I'm coming to everybody. Lokesh Jindal, 30 seconds.
No, please tell me, is there any road from Kanyakumari that passes all the way through Allahabad, and you actually want us to travel all the way from Indore, go eastward, come via Allahabad, and then go to Kanyakumari? Then again you will say northeast.
It is not that your container can be driven on that road.
Listen.
Bhai Sahab,
you're saying
from UP in 3 days you are going to Haryana. From UP in 3 days you are going to Haryana. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, is it only about the map of India? Is it only about the map of India that Kerala se shuru karke, they can't spend too much time in Uttar Pradesh, when they're going to Haryana after UP?
Navika, first of all, I want to say this, that a couple of the questions that I asked my good friend Tessin went unanswered, but having
I would
said
love
it,
to answer them if I get a chance.
No, Tessin.
No, I won't interrupt you. I just think I would love to.
Okay.
I won't interrupt.
Then let me add to that. Let me add to that tally, because I was just about to say, Navika, that Tessin is the best antidote against Alzheimer's. For me at least, because he makes me remember all those instances that he feels that everyone would have forgotten, and Congress would come out of, like a Cadillac from a car wash ki aaj tak koi galti kari nahi hai. Shall I tell you the instances of hate? Shall I tell you about Pradeep Manjhi, the Congress leader who was caught red-handed 2 years ago inciting riots in Odisha in the wake of a rape case? Quote, keep diesel and petrol ready. Once you get direction, set everything on fire, unquote. Remember Congress leader Shakuntala Khatik, caught red-handed in June 2017 ordering a mob to burn down a police station in Mandsaur. What is it their leader Shiroj Jivon said during Hathras court? 2 people should die from each side. A leader should die or some common man should die. Rahul Gandhi will come to the scene only after bullets start flying, unquote. Or Jagdish Thakur in 2012 when he was in charge of Odisha court. Chalao, Allah bolo, court ko tod do, unquote. Or a Congress leader from Goa who said, Tehsil, please, अपने गिरे बात में जरा सा देखो और रियलाइज करो कि तो हेट स्प्रेड कर रहे हो सबसे का कांग्रेस ने किया है. And people don't lose or win election on the basis of this narrative. People lose or win election on the basis of, no, please don't. They lose or win election on the basis of what they have done, the amount of development people have done. So I ask you again, why have you gone back on the promise of the new pension scheme of Dr. Manmohan Singh and Montek Singh Ahluwalia? Why?
Tessin, respond.
I can answer that question.
Can I come in, Navika?
Navika, can I answer the old pension scheme?
Yes, Dr. Sanjay Jha.
Navika, I have heard Shehzad Poonawala and Anand Ranganathan. I have also heard Suhail, who apparently hasn't heard of hate and violence in the country since 2014 and believes these are extraordinary allegations. Can I request all of them to kindly read MJ?
People have the intelligence to quote right. Yeah. I never said that. I said he said it was hatred, and then he said people love each other. Sanjay, remember, when you quote me, I don't care who else you quote. When you quote me accurately or don't quote me at all. I'm happy to be forgotten.
Fair enough,
incorrect.
Okay, let me carry on.
It's Suhail. And what Dr. Anand Ranganathan pointed out was that you're talking about hate spread by the BJP. And hate spread by the BJP. What about the hate spread by the Congress?
Yeah, so because
Mr.
Poonawala
is so good,
he will never allow me to have riots that have happened in the past.
Can I reply?
And he talked about them, which happened when the Congress was in government. I'm not denying it.
Mr.
Poonawala and Mr. Ranganathan don't tell you what they don't tell the viewers of Times Now.
Dr. Sanjay Jha, glossing over the truth doesn't add to the image makeover that you are trying. Well,
I mean, how
let's just say glossing over facts is not a good idea, Dr. Sanjay Jha. आनंद रंगनाथन ने एक सिंपल सी चीज कही है कि आप दूसरों के मुद्दे उठा रहे हैं, अच्छी बात है, लेकिन कभी अपने गरेबा में भी झांक कर देख लीजिए, क्योंकि जितना आप दूसरों पर कीचड़ उछाल रहे हैं वो वैसा कीचड़ आपके यहाँ बहुत लोगों ने उछाला है. नॉट दैट I am endorsing it, not that I am saying that hate is a good thing, but is the Bharat Jodo Yatra actually addressing that? Is it? And that is the question, because we're talking about, is Rahul Gandhi winning the perception battle ahead of 2024? Yes or no through the Bharat Jodo Yatra? Well, with controversial people who have been his court travelers, from Dullat and Farooq Abdullah to the George Punayyas of the world, the answer would be pause, take a deep breath, think about it. One thing it has done for Rahul Gandhi is that he stayed in the country long enough. With his look, new look, he does look that 8 years he may not have spent so much time consistently in India and focusing on Indian issues.
This time he has. But is that going to be enough to win a battle as tough as 2024? Because his own earlier alliance partners, and I just spoke to Akhilesh Yadav yesterday, and he said, never again an alliance with Rahul Gandhi. What does it say about brand Rahul Gandhi? Let's leave it at that. We'll wait and watch how the brand moves forward and how much credibility and support it gets from the people of India. On the other side, the big horror in Delhi. Ladies and gentlemen, a 20-year-old was dragged to death on the streets of Delhi. The monstrosity is beyond belief. And now, 4 days later, chilling facts are slowly unraveling. The new revelations have put the Delhi cops once again in the dock and punctured holes in the star witnesses account. Look at these 3 CCTV visuals on your screen. In the first CCTV visuals, Anjali's scooty zips past the screen. In the second CCTV, just 40 seconds later, a car is seen speeding off in the opposite direction. And in the third video, a police PCR van can also be seen crossing the scene of crime. But the cops have no idea of what was happening. Neither did they bother to pause and take a look. And that isn't all. The victim Anjali was also betrayed by her friend Nidhi. She first abandoned Anjali and then claimed that Anjali was drunk, and that is what she said in her statement to Times Now yesterday. And the post-mortem record says nothing about alcohol being found on Anjali in her bloodstream. Well, listen in to what Nidhi had said on her friend, the deceased victim, Anjali.
सब कुछ मेरे सामने हुआ, एक्सीडेंट मेरे सामने हुआ। वो लड़की ने ड्रिंक कर रखी थी, इसलिए उस लड़की की इस तरह मौत हुई। पर उस लड़कों की भी गलती, उस लड़कों को पता था कि वो लड़की बिल्कुल मतलब नीचे दबी हुई है।
Anjali's family has refuted Nidhi's allegations and said that the post-mortem vindicates their stand. Listen into the family.
मेरी बेटी के ऊपर इल्जाम लगाया जा रहा है, निधि झूठ बोल रही है। पुलिस से बस यही डिमांड है कि उन लड़कों को 5 को फांसी दी जाए और उस लड़की से कड़ी पूछताछ करी जाए। अगर वो भी इन्वॉल्व है तो उसे भी सजा दी जाए। तो सबसे बड़ी शिकायत मेरी यही है, वो अकेले छोड़ के कैसे आ गई, और दोनों का एक साथ एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, तो मेरी ही लड़की के क्यों इतना वो हो गया, उसके क्यों नहीं लगी।
और जो उसने दावा किया है कि मतलब उसने अल्कोहल लिया था, बट ऐसा सब कुछ झूठ है। वो पोस्टमार्टम की रिपोर्ट में सब कुछ आ चुका है, उसने कोई अल्कोहल नहीं लिया। हम पुलिस प्रशासन से रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं, निधि से सख्ताई से पेश आए, उसको इस केस के बारे में सब कुछ पता है।
एक बच्ची के साथ इतना घनन अपराध हो जाता है, वो मर जाती है, और एक बच्ची जो है वो सडनली एक साइड हीरोइन की तरह 75 घंटे 80 घंटे गायब होती है और सडनली प्लांट होती है कि भैया मैं भी उस वाक्य में थी और ऐसा हुआ। तो मैं निधि के सारे आरोपों को बेबुनियाद बताता हूँ।
Watching the news hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me on the debate, Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, Ravi Srivastava, political analyst, Dr. Anand Ranganathan continues to be with us. Also joining me tonight is Huda Zariwala, political analyst, supports the Aam Aadmi Party. And to you first, Mr. Ravi Srivastava, why in the middle of such a heinous crime would you make a statement that Anjali's friend is a BJP plant? Because if the BJP needed to plant anything, they could have planted a post-mortem report as well.
Navika, first of all, so-called Anjali's friend, I think she was never a friend, because had she been a friend, she would have called up the police, she would have called up the ambulance, she would have shouted over there, she would have done something. Instead of that, this is all botched up investigation by Delhi police, and we have found a glaring lapses on the part of Delhi police in the whole thing. With 13 kilometers, the body was dragged. There should be a proper forensic of the entire route to find out that what actually the body parts or any clothes or any such thing was there. And instead of they are trying to investigate what Anjali was doing, why the room was booked, why the boys were there, why they were shouting on the street, why they were fighting for the key, all those nonsense. Is there anybody who is finding out what those 5 goons were doing prior to hitting Anjali? What were their chronology, what were their time, where had they assembled, where they consumed the booze, where all they did it? Nobody is doing that. So there is no politics in it. The fact is that Delhi police has proved...
Well, Charu Pragya, you know, that is the fact that clearly the BJP cannot run away from. The police, I mean, calling their entire behavior shoddy is actually making the word shoddy look absolutely useless here. The police, the CCTV footage shows police PCR van going through. They show other cars going through. Citizens didn't really stop there to find out what happened. Neither did the police. And over the last 4 days, you know, just because there is, you know, a social media outcry, you see the lapses that Delhi police has done. They look like a bunch of amateurs. Sorry to say that. What really is a force like the Delhi police doing in this case, and have they completely been exposed in the manner in which this case has been handled?
Navika, good evening. The incidents of the last few days have been horrifying to say the least, but what is more horrifying is how more details are emerging every hour and how we see the lapses, the glaring lapses of Delhi police. Nobody is defending that. In fact, it is not something which can be defended from any point of view. The Honorable LG has instructed the Delhi Police Commissioner to ensure that all these lapses are also properly scrutinized. Those who are responsible are taken to task, and we have to get to the bottom of this. That's extremely important. But while I was listening to the opening of your show, there is so much of politicizing that's going on, and I understand political parties have their jobs to do. They want to politicize this entire accident, but with the end result of what? Raviji is now questioning the witness. The witness is not the person who should be questioned here. Who should be questioned are the accused, the 5 people who are already behind bars. We should in fact all be joining forces today to make sure these 5 are punished properly, and that can only happen when we help the police to do the job. Whatever blotches have happened in the past,
how are you going to punish these 5 accused, Charu Pragya, if the police has no clue, no evidence to build up a strong case against these accused? And Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I have a problem with Charu Pragya ji referring to this as an incident. It's not an incident. It's a girl who's been probably murdered, or at least has lost her life rather painfully, and we've seen a very, very callous approach from the Delhi police. Is it just an incident? Ek incident, one statistic, 1 person dead in the overall statistics of the Crime Research Bureau, it will reflect as 1 death, 1 murder or 1 accident. Is that all it is, Dr. Anand Ranganathan?
Navika, what is transpiring after what actually happened, murder, I'm not calling it an accident anymore. It's just beyond belief. It is so shocking. I don't have words to describe what has happened, because let me make 3 quick points. In any civilized country, 3 things would have happened. The probe to find out the awful mistakes and the lackadaisical attitude of Delhi police would have been handed to an independent authority. How on earth is the government satisfied that the Delhi police is being looked at, investigated by Delhi police? Ye kya banana republic hai? How is it possible that Delhi police has been given the job? And the BJP spokesperson, with due respect to her, she's saying LG is taking care of it. He is constituted a committee of Delhi police to look into the problems of Delhi police. How is it possible? Number 2, why is the Delhi Police Commissioner not coming out every evening and explaining these facts? And the facts are as follows: that 4 police stations and 4 jurisdictions were passed through by those awful goons when that poor girl was underneath that car being dragged for 14 kilometers. 4 police stations, countless nakabandis. Where is the accountability?
How can the Delhi police let it, just linger on for the victims and the parents of the victim to say that nothing has been done? We've requested a CBI post at the least.
Charu Pragya,
Supreme Court.
4 police stations, 13 kilometers, New Year's Eve when, so-called security is at the highest level and so many lapses. Not one head has rolled in the last 4 days. Charu Pragya, one girl has been killed so horrifically, not one head has rolled. Nothing has happened for 4 days. You think that's acceptable in civilized society? And the nation's capital city, Delhi?
No, absolutely not. And no, absolutely not. Absolutely not, Navika. And when I called it an incident, I said it in all seriousness. One incident is also one too many. And one like this leaves an imprint on our minds forever. We start understanding that for all our talk about better policing, women's security, safety, crime against women, it all comes down to this. When tested, we all have failed. And I am not defending anything or anyone, but I can assure you and the family of the deceased of one thing.
Assurance.
Who are responsible.
4 days, no action against anybody in the Delhi police. What is the assurance you're giving, ma'am? What is the assurance you're giving, ma'am?
So,
not one head has rolled.
Due respect,
nothing has happened.
To Anandji, let me also tell him. But it will. That's what I'm telling you. So we have to please have better faith in the way this investigation is going forward. Our Honorable Home Minister is monitoring this personally.
Who does Ariwala?
I cannot believe there is.
Is it okay to say something will happen maybe 5 days or 10 days or 2 weeks later? Is that enough?
Good evening, Navika ji. As every day proceeds, the case, just gets more horrendous. I mean, by each passing day, there are new details and absolutely, bringing out the lapses, the horrific lapses of the Delhi police. I mean, the witness that came to light yesterday to the media was an absolute cover-up. I mean, that was very obvious. I mean, they were trying to divert the case. Where is the Commissioner of Delhi? Why, like you said, why aren't there statements from him? Why is there no official statement from the Home Ministry? And after a decade of Nirbhaya case, we are witnessing a same incident. I mean, so that clearly means that for a decade, absolutely no changes have happened.
That we live in the national capital where somebody is so brutally murdered, killed, taken under a car, and her autopsy report. I don't even know how the family would even read an autopsy report of that kind. I mean, it is heart-rending to see the details in that. And not one move to punish anybody for the lapses that have taken place. How can we sleep at night? Can we really live with ourselves knowing that neither has Anjali got justice and nobody is even asking or answering the questions that we have? And not one person has paid for the lapses that have taken place. But we won't stop asking. We won't stop demanding action, because there must be action against those who are responsible for these lapses. Thank you very much for joining me on the News Hour tonight.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
The smartphone category in India is anyway popular, right? उसमें भी जो 20 से 25 हजार वाले स्मार्टफोन्स हैं वो और भी ज्यादा पॉपुलर हैं। शायद इसीलिए इन्फिनिक्स ने आज अपना 020 स्मार्टफोन लॉन्च कर दिया है। I have the smartphone with me right here और इसको आज करेंगे unbox. Hi, you're watching Gadget Time. This is me, Padmaja Joshi, and it's time for me to unbox this device और देखते हैं फोन में आपको क्या-क्या contents दिखाई देंगे. Let's wait. अनबॉक्स हो चुका है। जैसे कि आपने देखा यहाँ पर स्टिकर उतारते हुए मैंने ऐसे थोड़ा सा गंद मचा दी। यहाँ पे स्टिकर ऑलरेडी दिखाई दे रहा है, बट इसको क्लीन करेंगे बाद में। अभी बात करेंगे स्मार्टफोन के बारे में। थोड़ा सा मुझे वेट इसका ज्यादा लग रहा है, वो यूज करने के बाद पता चलेगा कि ये कितना कंफर्टेबल है।
You're watching the News Hour at 9. You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
Let's get it started, yeah, you know it's game time. Ain't no excuses tolerated while you can't grind. It's like you're on the job, you know that team.
Hello everyone, ये है बजाज की नई पल्सर P150। इन केस यू वंडरिंग 150 ऑलरेडी मौजूद है, तो इस P वर्जन को लाने का कारण क्या है, मतलब क्या है? सो कारण बहुत सारे हैं, डिजाइन को लेकर, फीचर्स को लेकर और कुछ हद तक परफॉर्मेंस को लेकर भी इस P वर्जन में बदलाव देखने को मिलते हैं। तो क्या है वो सारे बदलाव इस नई पल्सर P150 में, उन सभी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूं इस रिव्यू के अंदर। और रिव्यू के एंड में बात करेंगे 3 धांसू और 3 नॉट धांसू एलिमेंट्स मुझे क्या लगते हैं इस बजाज पल्सर P150 के बारे में। अब डिजाइन की बात करें तो यहां पर जो नयापन देखने को मिल रहा है,
Welcome, you're watching the News Hour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. In less than 24 hours from now, the Supreme Court will be hearing a clutch of petitions against the Uttarakhand High Court's order on the 78 acres of railways land in Haldwani. The police have asked for a stay on the order that has told the Uttarakhand state government to remove all encroachments from this railways land. But despite that, despite knowing that the matter is already in court, that in less than 24 hours, we are going to hear either way. The politics, provocation and obfuscation continued through the day today as well. The idea of Muslim areas being targeted was peddled freely, and some netas went to the extent of even threatening, be ready to give up your life, but don't give up this land.
ये जो हल्द्वानी उत्तराखंड में क्या किया इन लोगों ने कि हजारों जो हैं लोगों को, जिसमें मुसलमानों की तादाद बहुत ज्यादा है, उनके घर डिमोलिश करना चाहते हैं, उनको घर से बेघर करना चाहते हैं, लोगों को घरों से निकाल रहे हैं, सिर्फ हिंदू मुस्लिम की नफरत बढ़ा के ये आपस में लड़ाना चाहते हैं।
ऐसा बिल्कुल राज्य सरकार ने अनदेखी अपने नागरिकों को भी करी और अपनी जमीन को भी खोने को तैयार है। और रेलवे अतिक्रमणकारी है, इसमें मेरा आरोप है रेलवे पे। रेलवे अतिक्रमण करना चाह रही है राज्य सरकार की भूमि पे, और राज्य के जो मुख्यमंत्री हैं उनसे बार बार गुहार करी गई, उनसे बोला गया, लेकिन कहीं जू नहीं रहेंगी। ये बड़ा दुर्भाग्य है कि ऐसी सरकार है जो कहती सबका साथ सबका विकास है। विकास की बात तो हम बात करेंगे जब साथ देने का समय आया, तो आज ऐसी भयावह परिस्थिति आ गई कि 50,000 लोग सीधे सीधे प्रभावित होने वाले।
इस बस्ती को उजाड़ने की बहुत ही घिनौनी साजिश की जा रही है। बाकायदा कानूनी रूप से ये जमीन इनकी है जो लोग यहाँ रह रहे हैं। उस सब के बावजूद हाईकोर्ट बिना सोचे समझे बिना सारी चीजों को देखे फैसला देती है। अब देखते हैं कि कल, क्योंकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट में मामला पेंडिंग है, कल क्या स्थिति होती है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में, उससे पता लगेगी। मैं यही लोगों को कहूंगा भी कि चाहे जान चली जाए लेकिन ये जगह छोड़नी नहीं है।
But it's not about the politics alone. Active attempts are now being made to create a law and order situation. The same pattern that was seen in Shaheen Bagh during the anti-CAA protest, in Jahangirpuri during the drive against illegal construction, is now being replicated in Haldwani. From having ladies front the protest, to making children participate, to using the might of a mob to send across a message to the court, the government and the country.
अभी इसी जगह पे मकान आता है सर। ये रेलवे की जो डिमार्केशन है, ये गलत किया जा रहा है हम लोगों के साथ। रेलवे को तो खुद नहीं पता है कि रेलवे की जमीन कितनी है। पहले गफूर बस्ती थी, गफूर बस्ती के बाद आज इतना बढ़ा दिया है, आज पूरा बनभूलपुरा जो है, पूरा बनभूलपुरा को कवर कर दिया है। ऐसे करते करते तो सर पूरी आधी हल्द्वानी ही चली जाएगी।
हमें यहाँ 20-22 साल हो गए यहाँ रहते हुए, कभी आज तक ऐसी स्थिति नहीं आई जो हम अपनी जमीन छोड़ कर यहाँ से जाएं। कभी हमारे सामने ऐसा मसला आया नहीं, और अब इतने बड़े हो गए ये मसला देखना पड़ रहा। हम नहीं चाहते कि हमारे घर जाए, यहाँ के मेहनत मजदूरी करने वाले इंसान हैं, इतने टाइम से यहाँ रह रहे हैं, कभी ऐसा हमारे सामने कभी हुआ ही नहीं। हम नहीं चाहते कि हमारे साथ ऐसा हो। अपना घर हम छोड़ के जाना नहीं चाहते यहाँ से।
बात यह है कि ये घर हो जाएगा तो हम लोग कहाँ जाएंगे? हमारे छोटे छोटे बच्चे बेटी हैं, कमाने वाले कोई नहीं है। अब बताइए कहाँ जाएंगे? कर्जे में घर उधार बना लिए, कैसे निकलेंगे?
90 साल की हमारी उम्र हो गई, हमें मौत दे दो, हमें यही मौत दे दो, यही मर जाओ, अपने घरों में यही दफन कर दो। हम बीमार इंसान हैं, हमारे पास देवा इंसान।
Here's the thing, that it's become quite apparent that this so-called trend, which has now come to be called as the Shaheen Bagh model, is being replicated across the country. But what's the message and precedent being set? Doesn't it show that the rule of the mob will be above the rule of law? And is this trend deliberately being promoted by those whose very political existence depends on communal and vote bank politics, whether by hook or by crook?
You're watching the News Hour at 10. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Alright, joining us on the debate, Munna Singh Chauhan, MLA and leader of the BJP in Uttarakhand, political analyst Rishi Bagri, Kalimul Hafiz, president of the AIMIM in Delhi, Kamar Zaman Chaudhary, leader of the Congress. My first question is to Sumaya Rana, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Sumaya Rana ji, is this the Shaheen Bagh model? ये Shaheen Bagh model हल्द्वानी पहुंच गया?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी जिस तरीके का फेस दिया जा रहा है, देखिए शाहीन बाग भी मजबूरी थी, अपने हक की लड़ाई लड़ना मुझे नहीं लगता इस मुल्क में कोई बुराई है। और जिस तरीके से इसको शाहीन बाग के साथ जोड़ा जा रहा है, तो मुझे बहुत अफसोस है इस बात को कहने के लिए कि शाहीन बाग में भी हम हक की लड़ाई लड़ रहे थे और हमारे अधिकारों का हनन किया जा रहा था। और उसी तरीके से सेम आज की तारीख में आप सिर्फ एक मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी की इतनी बड़ी गैदरिंग को, जहाँ पे 4-4.5 हजार मकान हो, 20-25 हजार लोग रहने वाले हों, वहां पे 8 या 7 या 8 मस्जिदें हों, 15-20 स्कूल हों, उसमें कुछ गवर्नमेंट स्कूल भी हैं, एक पूरा सेटलमेंट है जिसको 1 मिनट में बस्तियां आप उजाड़ देते हैं।
पर मैडम, शाहीन बाग के बारे में ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला था 7 अक्टूबर 2020 को। दिस इज व्हाट द सुप्रीम कोर्ट सेड अबाउट शाहीन बाग, क्योंकि आपने कहा शाहीन बाग में क्या गलती है, शाहीन बाग अगर हल्द्वानी पहुंच जाए, ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑर्डर में लिखा है। वी हैव टू मेक इट अनइक्विवोकली क्लियर दैट पब्लिक वेज एंड पब्लिक स्पेसेस कैन नॉट बी ऑक्युपाइड इन सच अ मैनर। डेमोक्रेसी एंड डिसेंट गो हैंड इन हैंड, बट डेमोन्स्ट्रेशंस एक्सप्रेसिंग डिसेंट हैव टू बी इन डेजिग्नेटेड प्लेसेस। द प्रेजेंट केस was not even one of protest taking place at an undesignated area, but was a blockage of a public way which caused grave inconvenience to commuters. We cannot accept the plea of the applicants that an indeterminable number of people can assemble whenever they choose to protest. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा जहां आपका मन होगा वहां आप खड़े होकर के प्रोटेस्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं, जो कि आपने शाहीन बाग में किया, जहांगीरपुरी में किया और अब आप हल्द्वानी में कर रहे हैं।
Let me clear, madam. This case is slightly different from Shaheen Bagh. Shaheen Bagh में ये प्रॉब्लम थी कि लोगों की आवाजाही में प्रॉब्लम हो रही थी, ऐसी जगह पर बैठे थे कि जहाँ पे अवरोध हो रहा था लोगों को आने जाने में। यहाँ पर तो उन्हीं लोगों की जगह है जहाँ से उनको हटाया जा रहा है। आप बताइए कि हमारे देश में अगर आस्था के बेस पे फैसले हो सकते हैं तो क्या मानवता के बेस पे फैसले करने में कोई बुराई है क्या?
मेरी फैसले तो मानवता, फैसले तो कानून के हिसाब से होंगे ना, मानवता के हिसाब से तो कानून नहीं चल सकता। कानून तो कानून के हिसाब से चलेगा।
बाबरी मस्जिद के मामले में तो आस्था को बेस बना दिया गया था।
नहीं मैम, वो कानून के हिसाब से हुआ था, वो भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट से आया था। मुझे वो ऐसा नहीं था कि कोई जाकर के अयोध्या में जाके बैठ गए और कहा कि अब यहाँ पे मंदिर बनेगा, जो कि यहाँ हल्द्वानी में हो रहा है। वहां पे कोर्ट का ऑर्डर था, यहाँ पे भी कोर्ट का ऑर्डर है।
मैडम, सर्वोच्च न्यायालय का, माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय का पूरा सम्मान है। मैं आपके चैनल से इस बात की इल्तिजा करती हूँ, एक देश की जिम्मेदार नागरिक होने के नाते, कि इस मामले को गंभीरता से लिया जाए। जिस सरकार ने, जब भारतीय जनता पार्टी ये नारा लगाती है कि सबका साथ, सबका विकास और सबका विश्वास, क्या उस समय माइनॉरिटीज नहीं आते हैं?
मुन्ना सिंह जी, आप बार बार माइनॉरिटी की बात कर रही है। वैसे आपको पता है ना कि वहां पर माइनॉरिटी मेजॉरिटी दोनों इक्वल नंबर्स में रहते हैं, और ये खुद कांग्रेस ने माना है, भाजपा छोड़िए।
मैडम, ये जिम्मेदारी
say just wasting the time. Let us first try to understand.
एक सेकंड मुन्ना सिंह जी, मैम आपको पता है ना, आपने ये तीसरी बार बोला है कि ये माइनॉरिटी एरिया में हो रहा है, ये मुस्लिम एरिया में हो रहा है, ये माइनॉरिटीज के खिलाफ हो रहा है। दिस इज अ मिक्स्ड पॉपुलेशन। ऐसा कोई माइनॉरिटी एरिया मुस्लिम एरिया देश में नहीं होता है, ये मिक्स्ड पॉपुलेशन है, वहां हर कोई रहता है।
अच्छा, तो फिर सीधे और अन्य मैं कल से मैं इन डिबेट में हूँ, और आज भी यही कहा गया कि वहाँ पर रोहिंग्या मौजूद हैं, वहाँ पर मुस्लिम एक अफगानिस्तान बनाने की तैयारी हो रही है। व्हाट इज दिस? आप कह रही है कि मिक्स है।
मैम मिक्स है,
क्या के बदनाम कर रहे हैं, चैनल पे बैठ के ये बदनाम कर रहे हैं कि
आप देखिए मैडम, आपके अगर कोई स्क्रीन है आपके सामने, वहां पर मंदिर के विजुअल्स हैं। ये मंदिर कुछ वक्त में तोड़ दिया जाएगा क्योंकि ये मंदिर रेलवे के लैंड पे बना है। गो ऑन मिस्टर मुन्ना सिंह चौहान रिस्पॉन्डिंग। मुन्ना सिंह चौहान,
Nation want to know, this is merely a case of eviction of the illegal encroachment. Where did it come, Hindu and Muslims? But the entire party, the whole Congress party, Obaisi, Mayawati, Farooq Abdullah ji, this gentle lady, everyone is portraying this action as an harassment or the atrocities against the Muslims. Why did it come about? They are pursuing an agenda. Let me tell you, this PIL was filed in 2013, and remember, in 2013, I would like to ask the local Congress MLA also. In 2013, it was a Congress government in Uttarakhand, not the BJP government, when the PIL was filed. And the Honorable High Court, the division bench of the Honorable High Court, examined 15 to 20 intervention applications. And the Honorable High Court made it abundantly clear that neither, as per the definition laid down by the Allahabad High Court, neither this land is in Nujul land, and even if it is in Nujul land, any construction by the side of the railway property cannot be done without the prior permission of the railway department. That was also not done.
मिस्टर मुन्ना सिंह चौहान, आप ये बताइए कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी बार बार जो कह रही है कि ये शाहीन बाग मॉडल है, शाहीन बाग मॉडल है, सुमैया राणा का कहना है कि शाहीन बाग की तरह यहाँ प्रोटेस्ट करना उनका हक है। आप उसको डिमोनाइज क्यों कर रहे हैं? ये उनका हक है प्रोटेस्ट करना।
Because they are trying to run down this is the rule of law, that we have a land of the law, and a high court judgment becomes a land of the law so long it has not been repealed by the Supreme Court. And she is trying to say that every court judgment can be run down by the mob. Every court judgment can be thrashed by the mob. This is what exactly they are trying to do. This is what exactly they have been trying to do.
देखिए, आपको जब हम हक की बात करेंगे लगेगा कि लॉ को चैलेंज कर रहे हैं। मैंने तो आपसे कहा कि मैं आपके चैनल पे बैठ के ये गुजारिश कर रही हूँ अपने देश की सर्वोच्च न्यायालय से भी और हाई कोर्ट से भी। हाई कोर्ट ने तो अपना फैसला खैर सुना ही दिया है, अब सर्वोच्च न्यायालय से आना बाकी है। मैं ये इस चीज की गुजारिश करूंगी कि वहाँ पे माइनॉरिटी के लोग ज्यादा है या मेजोरिटी के लोग ज्यादा है, वहाँ मंदिर है या मस्जिद है, मैं इंसानियत की बात करने के लिए बैठी हूँ। मैं ये चाहती हूँ कि कम से कम वहाँ पर एक इंसानियत का जो तकाजा है उसको भी नजर में रखा जाए। इंसानियत से बड़ा, अगर हम ये सिर्फ जबानी थोड़ी कहते हैं कि इंसानियत से बड़ा कोई धर्म नहीं है।
मैडम, आप कह रही हैं कि यहाँ पर कोर्ट से अपील की जा रही है, पर आपके जो एलाय हैं राष्ट्रीय जनहित संघर्ष पार्टी, आज एसटी हसन साहब के साथ 10 लोगों का डेलीगेशन किया गया था, उनके साथ भानु प्रताप जी भी गए जो कि अध्यक्ष हैं राष्ट्रीय जनहित संघर्ष पार्टी के। वो कह रहे हैं कि चाहे जान चली जाए, मैं लोगों को यह कहूंगा कि ये जगह मत छोड़ना। ये तो क्लियर चैलेंज है ना लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन क्रिएट करने का।
आपत्तिजनक बात और कही, उन्होंने ये कहा कि हाई कोर्ट ने कुछ भी चीज देखा नहीं हमारा। ही इज नॉट क्रिटिसाइजिंग द जजमेंट, ही इज क्रिटिसाइजिंग द हाई कोर्ट।
सुमैया रानी, ये तो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर क्रिएट करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, जहां पे वो कह रहे हैं कि जमीन मत छोड़ना, चाहे कोर्ट कुछ भी कह दे, जान देने को तैयार रहना। व्हाट इज दिस? Is this adhering to the law of the land?
मैं बोलूं मैडम?
बोलिए। हाँ, आप कह रही हैं मैं कोर्ट को मानती हूँ, यहाँ पर भानु प्रताप कह रहे हैं कि जान दे दो।
मैं बता रही, ये सारा स्टंट सत्ताहीन जो सत्तारूढ़ पार्टीज हैं उनका मामला ये है कि 2024 के लिए हम कौन सा ऐसा गंदा खेल फिर खेलें कि ये बीच में डिवीजन जो ये एक लकीर खींचने की इनकी कोशिश है, ये सिर्फ वहां से इस बस्ती को उजाड़ने के पीछे एक मैसेज देना चाहते हैं।
इस सवाल का जवाब दीजिए ना, आपसे मैं सिंपली पूछ रही हूँ, इफ यू बिलीव इन लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, आपके वहां पर एलाइज जाकर के क्यों भड़का रहे हैं? क्यों लोगों को कह रहे हैं कि कोर्ट जो भी बोले तुम ये जमीन मत छोड़ना?
मैडम, हमारा देश भी आंदोलन से आजाद हुआ था, हमने बड़े बड़े आंदोलन किए तब इस देश को पाया है। अगर आज की तारीख में हमको अपनी जमीन, अपना हक पाने के लिए आंदोलन करना पड़ेगा तो हम पीछे नहीं हटेंगे। मैं आपसे बार बार ये कह रही हूँ, मैं यहाँ बैठ के आपके चैनल पर बोल रही हूँ।
आंदोलन ऐसे तो नहीं कर सकते ना कि आप कोर्ट के खिलाफ आंदोलन कर दे कि हम कोर्ट को नहीं मानेंगे, हम सड़क पर उतर जाएंगे, इसको हम आंदोलन का नाम दे देंगे।
देखिए, अभी तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ऑर्डर आना बाकी है, ठीक?
तो अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ऑर्डर आना बाकी है तो लोग सड़कों पर क्यों है? सुप्रीम कोर्ट का इंतजार कीजिए ना। और वहां पर जाकर के ये सारे नेता क्यों कह रहे हैं कि जान देने को तैयार रहो? सुप्रीम कोर्ट का इंतजार कीजिए।
जिस तरीके से भारतीय जनता पार्टी का फेस आया है जब से सत्ता में आई है, और उसने जिस तरीके से सरकारी मशीनरी का ले लीजिए और चाहे देश के जितने भी स्तंभ है उनका गलत इस्तेमाल किया हो, आप मेरा इशारा समझ रही होंगी, उससे कुछ भी उम्मीद की जा सकती है वो अपने को सत्ता में रखने के लिए। और
मैडम, ये तो कोर्ट का ऑर्डर आया है ना, ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी और उनकी सत्ता का क्या लेना देना है? इनफैक्ट इफ एनीथिंग सुमैया जी, आप भी जानती हैं कि हल्द्वानी वो सीट है जहां पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी नहीं कांग्रेस जीतती है। इसीलिए हर कोई पार्टी जो कि कांग्रेस के वोट को काटना चाहती है इसमें घुस गई है और हिंदू मुस्लिम कर रही है। क्विक रिस्पॉन्स फ्रॉम मुन्ना सिंह चौहान, देन आई वांट टू ओपन दिस अप एंड ब्रिंग इन कलीमुल हाफिज। यस, क्विक रिस्पॉन्स मुन्ना सिंह चौहान।
नहीं, मैं स्पष्ट कह रहा हूं कि भाई हाई कोर्ट का इतना इलेबोरेट 176 पेज का 176 पेजेस का डिटेल जजमेंट है जिसमें हर एप्लीकेशन को उन्होंने एग्जामिन किया। कहा यह भी गलत कहा जा रहा है कि लीज, उन्होंने कहा कोई लीज ऑन रिकॉर्ड नहीं है। उन्होंने कहा कंस्ट्रक्शन भी रेलवे के बगल में आपको परमिशन लेनी पड़ती है, वो भी किसी के पास नहीं है। हाई कोर्ट ने यह भी कहा कि बाकायदा आपको किसी ने भी इसके लिए, और लीज को कभी आपने रिन्यू नहीं कराया, कभी रजिस्टर्ड नहीं कराया। रेलवे डिपार्टमेंट ने और उत्तराखंड के रेवेन्यू डिपार्टमेंट ने जॉइंट कमेटी ने उसका डिमार्केशन भी कराया। उस डिमार्केशन के रिकॉर्ड को भी हाई कोर्ट में ले किया गया, उसमें भी किसी ने ऑब्जेक्शन नहीं किया। जब जजमेंट आ जाता है तो सडनली ऑल दीज पीपल who by hook and crook want to portray, who want to make it a case of atrocities against the Muslim, वो देश में ही नहीं एमनेस्टी इंटरनेशनल तक पहुंच गए और कहने लगे मुसलमानों का उत्पीड़न हो रहा है।
बताइए कलीमुल साहब, वही लोग जो शाहीन बाग में थे, वही लोग जो जहांगीरपुरी में थे, वही लोग अब हल्द्वानी पर पहुंच गए हैं।
देखिए मैडम, आप जो इसकी जो तुलना कर रही हैं ये बहुत अफसोसनाक है। मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी के जो एमएलए हैं मैं इनसे ये पूछना चाहता हूं कि जितने एग्रेशन में ये बोल रहे हैं कि उतने एग्रेशन में नरेंद्र मोदी जी के खिलाफ बोले? या दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट के ऑर्डर के बावजूद दिल्ली की 1739 कॉलोनी रजिस्टर्ड कर दी और विधेयक पास करा नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने? है इनमें हिम्मत? आप में हिम्मत है?
कानून से ना झींगा मुश्किल से
आप वो 40 लाख लोग थे और देश की राजधानी में थे, उनके पास लीड भी नहीं थी।
हाथ में डंडे लेकर के तो नहीं किया, बंदूक उठा के तो नहीं किया, देश के टुकड़े करके तो नहीं किया।
मैं आपको अभी सुन रहा था, मैं नहीं बोला था। अब आप खामोश रहिए, मैं बोलूंगा। अब आप खामोश रहिए, मैं बोलूंगा।
काट दीजिए ताकि भारत की एक्सेस नॉर्थ ईस्ट
खामोश रहेंगे तो बोलूंगा, वरना में कोई फायदा नहीं।
ओके मिस्टर चौहान, एक सेकंड, कलीमुल हाफिज साहब को बोलने दीजिए। मिस्टर चौहान, कलीमुल हाफिज साहब को बोलने दीजिए, फिर आप जवाब दीजिएगा। यस कलीमुल हाफिज,
देखिए
आप कंपैरिजन कर रहे हैं एप्पल्स एंड ऑरेंजेस का। एक सेकंड सर, आप कंपैरिजन कर रहे हैं एप्पल्स एंड ऑरेंजेस का। पहली बात तो इन प्रिंसिपल द रेगुलराइजेशन ऑफ इलीगल कॉलोनीज इज एन extremely political issue and repeatedly parties have done it, which is sad that people who squat illegally are then regularized. That being said, it should be done as per the law. कल को अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट कहता है कि हां जी इस अतिक्रमण को रहने दीजिए, रहने दिया जाना चाहिए, पर लोग सड़कों पर उतर करके ये नहीं डिमांड कर सकते कि चाहे जो हो जाए, जान चली जाए, पर ये जमीन को मत छोड़ना। आप ये सड़क पर फैसला नहीं कर सकते। दिस ट्रेंड ऑफ सड़क पर फैसला कलीमुल हाफिज साहब इज द वरिंग थिंग।
देखिए जो संघ परिवार और आप लोग चाहते हो कि इस देश से लोकतंत्र खत्म हो जाए, लोग सड़कों पे जाके अपने अधिकारों की आवाज न उठाए, ये होगा नहीं। इस देश की जनता मानेगी नहीं। आप कितना भी चला लो,
सड़कों पर जाकर के आवाज उठाना इज नॉट ऑलवेज लोकतंत्र, इट इज ऑल्सो एनार्की।
सड़कों पर आएंगे और ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो मुसलमानों को अभी बेघर करके आई है आसाम में, अभी 4000 घर इन्होंने आसाम में बेघर किए हैं। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी
सर वो अतिक्रमण था,
मुसलमानों को बेघर करके
सर, और वो बाय द वे आधा उसमें मंदिर की जमीन पे था, मंदिरों के ऊपर जाकर के अतिक्रमण किया हुआ था।
आप देश को गुमराह कर रही है मैडम।
बिल्कुल भी नहीं सर, वो सात्रा का लैंड था, वो सात्रा का लैंड था। पर एनीवे, अभी आप मुद्दा कीजिए हल्द्वानी का। आप कह रहे हैं कि डेमोक्रेसी ये है कि लोग सड़कों पर आकर के आंदोलन करें, पर डेमोक्रेसी ये नहीं है जो हाई कोर्ट बोल रहा है। हाई कोर्ट डेमोक्रेसी का हिस्सा नहीं है आपके लिए, पर सड़क डेमोक्रेसी का हिस्सा है।
आप और भारतीय जनता पार्टी हाई कोर्ट की आड़ में छुपिए मत।
छुपने की क्या बात है सर?
है कि वो सरकार, देखिए
हर इंडियन सिटीजन लॉ अबाइडिंग कोर्ट को ही मानेगा ना।
मैडम मुझे सुनेंगी आप तो मैं बोलूं?
बोलिए।
जब वहां की सरकार ने, उसमें भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार भी रही है, कांग्रेस की सरकार भी रही है, उसके सरकारी स्कूल है, सरकारी अस्पताल है, सरकारी वाटर टैंक है, सरकारी रोड है, सरकारी टैक्स लिया जा रहा है, हाउस टैक्स लिया जा रहा है, प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स लिया जा रहा है, सारे काम किए जा रहे हैं। और यही सरकार 2016 में उत्तराखंड।
मुन्ना सिंह चौहान बताइए वहां पर क्यों कॉलेजेस बनने दिए गए?
आज उत्तराखंड सरकार इनके साथ क्यों नहीं खड़ी हुई है? जब ये बीजेपी
बताइए आपने वहां पर ये सब क्यों बनने दिया? ओके जवाब लीजिए, आपने क्यों बनने दिया ये सब? आपने प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स दिया। मुन्ना सिंह चौहान,
रेलवे डिपार्टमेंट ने कहा है हमें अपनी जमीन वापस पोजीशन चाहिए। हाई कोर्ट ने इलेबोरेट जजमेंट दिया। हाई कोर्ट ने कहा आप फोर्स लीजिए। उत्तराखंड के चीफ सेक्रेटरी, डीजीपी को, होम सेक्रेटरी को डायरेक्ट किया, आप फोर्स एम्प्लॉय करिए, जरूरत पड़े तो पैरामिलिट्री फोर्स लीजिए, जरूरत पड़े तो और भी बाई फोर्स आप पोजीशन लीजिए। अब मुझे बताइए हाई कोर्ट के डिवीजन बेंच की जजमेंट के बाद क्या बचता है स्टेट गवर्नमेंट? कैन स्टेट गवर्नमेंट अफोर्ड?
क्या कर सकती है स्टेट गवर्नमेंट? कलीमुल हाफिज,
डाइवर्स फ्रॉम द पर्पस।
साफ बोला गया है आप
वो कर सकती है जो 2016 में बाकी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने किया था। वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट चाहती उसके खिलाफ खड़ी होती, सुप्रीम कोर्ट गई नहीं। उत्तराखंड सरकार अपने उत्तराखंड वासियों के साथ खड़ी नहीं है। ये डिस्क्रिमिनेशन कर रही है, ये उसको हिंदू मुसलमान कर रही है। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी बाकायदा अल्पसंख्यकों पर जुल्म करते हुए दिखना चाहती है, इसलिए कर रही है।
मुसलमान फिर से आप मुसलमान पे पहुंच गए। ऑल राइट, लेट मी ब्रिंग इन कमर जमान चौधरी एंड ऋषि बागरी। दिस इज, हियर्स द थिंग, myth making continues for so long that ultimately it almost seems like the truth. To finally put an end to this, I want to actually show you a report from one of the 3 temples which have already been marked out for demolition. This is the actual temple which is standing there on that land. First watch this report.
क्या मांग लिया आज भगवान से आपने?
हमारा घर बच जाए करके मांगा है। सबका बचे, हिंदू क्या मुसलमान का, सबका बचना चाहिए।
तो क्या लग रहा है अब तो भगवान के मकान भी टूटेगा क्योंकि ये भी इज्जत में आ रहा है?
अब साहब जो है ये तो ऊपर वाला और यहाँ की सरकार इसको बचा सकती है, बाकी हम लोग तो प्रयास और पूजन कर सकते हैं, प्रार्थना कर सकते हैं भगवान से।
All right, Qamar Zaman Chaudhary. These are devotees in a temple. Qamar Zaman Chaudhary.
Yeah, these are. Yeah, I understand. Padmaja, you know, whatever I am saying here might be triggering to you, but I hope you patiently listen to me first. You know, Times Now has put out a report 2 days ago in the same Haldwani case about quoting the entire protest being Zameen Jihad and the Kanun Virodhi
Times Now has not done
Mombatti
this.
gang.
Times
And
Now
today I
has
am
not done
speaking
this,
in
sir.
your debate.
Times Now has not done this. Let
Yes,
me
of
make it
course.
very clear. Times Now has never used
Your
those
sister,
words.
It's your sister channel.
You please go on that channel and ask
Your
them the
sister
question.
channel.
Times Now has
Okay,
not
if I'm
used
not
those
wrong.
words. I roundly dissociate from any such words.
I don't want it to.
No, I will not answer for somebody else.
Ma'am, but you cannot
You asked
challenge
me about what I have done. Times Now has not used these words.
Okay, fine.
Similarly,
fine.
why are you using the entire analogy
Padmaja,
of that this is about a Muslim area? It is not a Muslim area. Hindus live there, temples are being demolished.
I'll come. Okay. Do you want to go by the facts or do you want to go by rhetorics? Let me state the facts first. Then
I showed you
your
a temple.
decision. Over the 2.9, you showed me the temple. These are all collateral damages that are there for a greater objective that the Sangh Parivar
Hindus are
wants
just
to achieve.
collateral
Let
who are
me
living
point out
there.
why. Over the two. Come on, Padmaja, you have invited me to speak. I have first requested you. My statement might be triggering to some of you, but please have the patience to let me complete. If you will please permit me.
Go on.
Over the 2.9 kilometer stretch that the railways are claiming to be theirs, out of which in some areas they have claimed 80 to 90 feet of the roads of the adjoining the railway line. In those majority parts, it has come to 8 to 900 feet, which engulfs the majority of the minority dominated Haldwani. First number point. Second number point, you see how the entire this thing is shifting. You have attacked the roti, kapra and makan of the minorities. In roti, you have dictated what a Muslim should be eating or not.
But sir, I am asking you, how is this about minorities?
Dictated where a Muslim should
When
be
there is
living.
a temple that is being broken there, how is this about minorities?
Why not? No, I told you a temple is a collateral damage for a greater objective that the Sangh Parivar wants to achieve. This constituency, Haldwani, the Bharatiya Janata Party lost the last election by around 8,000 votes.
And they have consistently lost the election here. This is not about the BJP at all. This is about the Samajwadi Party, AIMIM and Congress trying their best to get this vote bank.
No. Padmaja, you tell me the person who has filed the PIL, Ravi Shankar Joshi, do you know his antecedents? He is an RSS sympathizer. He is an Islamophobic man.
What about the Uttarakhand High Court?
Frequently tweeted.
Is he an RSS sympathizer and Islamophobe?
Facts.
Is the Uttarakhand High Court an RSS sympathizer and Islamophobe?
Yes. Now coming to the point. That's why I said. Yes. Now come. 2020, when the entire world was locked down, or when we are suffering from COVID, there was an eviction hearing. None of these people from Haldwani could attend those eviction hearings.
Sir, they were given repeated reminders. They were sent notices. They did not come themselves. They did not come for the hearing despite being sent notices by the court.
Yes, the lower court, the railway court, the railway court, the trial courts that were there ultimately reached the High Court. Now the High Court judgment, if you read the High Court judgment, you will get a sense of how this entire judgment is flawed. And I hope that the Supreme Court tomorrow will put a correction on that. Now you see, Padmaja, one last point I will tell you. There is a Haldwani in every railway station of India. You will find encroachments every railway station, near about every railway station. Why this is there? Because these poor people, where do they go when they migrate to the urban areas?
Okay.
They have
Respond
to stay
to
in
this
some
first,
places.
Rishi Bagri. Number of issues raised by Qamar Zaman Chaudhary. First, the man who has filed the plea is an Islamophobe and he is RSS. Second, the judgment is flawed. And third, Hindus are collateral damage. Basically, the BJP is going after Muslims. They are like badi, प्रोजेक्ट्स में छोटे छोटे कोलैटरल होते रहते हैं। ऋषि बागरी।
पद्मजा जी, मैं एक चीज आपको क्लियरली बोलना चाहता हूं। अभी मैं सुमैया राणा जी की बात सुन रहा था, कमरू जी की सुन रहा था, हाफिज जी की सुन रहा था। ये लोग ये बताना चाह रहे कि ये अचानक से एक गवर्नमेंट की निगाहें पड़ी है इस अतिक्रमण पे और उन्होंने बुलडोजर चलाने की बात की है। ये नहीं बता रहे हैं कि 2007 से यह अतिक्रमण है, 2007 में इसको इविक्शन करने की बात हुई थी, 2007 में बड़ा एक रकम से राइट्स जैसा सीन हुआ था। ये नहीं बता रहे कि 2017 में ये लोग जो आपके अतिक्रमण वाले इंक्रोचर्स है वो लोग सुप्रीम कोर्ट में गए थे। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये वाला जो केस था वो हाई कोर्ट में वापस रेफर किया था। हाई कोर्ट में बोला गया था कि 3 महीना में आप इसका जजमेंट दीजिए। हाई कोर्ट इस पे 5 साल वेट करके उस पे जजमेंट देता है। ये जजमेंट हाई कोर्ट का है। हाई कोर्ट पूरा प्रोज एंड कॉन्स सुनने के बाद जजमेंट देता है और उसके बाद वो अतिक्रमण हटाने की बात करता है। आप ये बोल रहे हो कि हाई कोर्ट गलत है, आप ये बोल रहे हो कि हाई कोर्ट आप रूल ऑफ लॉ को नहीं मानोगे, आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट को नहीं मानोगे, आप जाके उसके खिलाफ विरोध करोगे। और विरोध भी कैसे करते हो? आप अतिक्रमण करते हो, आप इंक्रोच करते हो और उसके बाद जब आप जब केस हार जाते हो, कोर्ट में केस हार जाते हो, तो आप अपने बच्चों और अपने महिलाओं को आगे कर देते हो ये सिंपैथी करने के लिए। फिर आप रोते हो, चिल्लाते हो कि भैया मुझे रातों रात हमें निकाला जा रहा है, जबकि आपको लास्ट 15 साल से आपको नोटिसेस मिल रही है, 15 साल से आपको
15 साल से नोटिसेस मिल रही है और बीच में पहले भी एंटी एनक्रोचमेंट ड्राइव हुई थी जिसके दौरान वायलेंस हुआ था, विच इज वाई कमर जमान चौधरी दिस टाइम अराउंड द कोर्ट हैज सेड कि पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस की जरूरत पड़े तो बुलाइए और खाली कराइए। ये कोर्ट ने बोला है बिकॉज देयर वाज राइटिंग अर्लियर। सो एनीवन हु इज सेइंग कि ये पीसफुल डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन है, हम पीसफुली हक की लड़ाई कर रहे हैं, आंदोलन हो रहा है, पहले राइटिंग हो चुकी है बाय द सेम पीपल। Kamar Zaman Chaudhary.
And in 2007 during the UPA government when the Modi government was not in the scene.
Exactly.
So
Kamar Zaman Chaudhary.
Your government.
Today, Bakri Sahab, please, one second. Today when we are discussing the Haldwani protest and everything, first point that comes to my mind is that if it was not for those candlelight marches and the protest, we would not have been discussing today on Times Now about those Haldwani issue. Second point, today we are discussing on Haldwani on a day when the Gujarat bill on protest was passed by was given a presidential nod. Now the question remains out here, in a democracy, do the people who are aggrieved have a right to protest, yes or no?
They
we
do.
protested in the Shine Bagh
but within reasonable restrictions, and that is what the court has said, sir. And by the way, since a lot of people are bringing in the humanitarian angle and the Congress is saying कि भाई और कुछ नहीं तो कम से कम मोदी सरकार का दिल होना चाहिए. Is the law going to dictate Kamar Zaman Chaudhary or दिल?
No, Rishi Bagri and his party, they declare PM Awas Yojana's statistics like anything. Now is the time that they declare the PM Todo Yojana, the list of the PM Todo Yojana right now in front of the country. Because invariably
एक और योजना होनी चाहिए जिसका probably नाम होना चाहिए भूपेंद्र सिंह हुड्डा तोड़ो योजना, क्योंकि मार्च 28, 2012 195 structures were demolished in Gurgaon as part of the anti-encroachment drive undertaken by the district administration and town and country planning department. The drive started on Monday. As a part of the drive, areas like Bilaspur, Bhora Kalan, Garhi, Harsaru, Sadhrana and Bhonsi, 8 buildings in 7 illegal colonies were demolished. These 6 illegal colonies in Bhora Kalan and 1 in Bilaspur was demolished. आप करे तो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, कोई और करे तो एंटी मुस्लिम, ऐसे कैसे चलेगा कमर जमान चौधरी साहब?
इन्होंने तो तुर्कमान गेट में पूरा का पूरा
2012 में पूरी की पूरी कॉलोनी 7 कॉलोनी तोड़ दी गई। 7 कॉलोनी, वो क्या था? एंटी पोर था या एंटी मुस्लिम था या एंटी हिंदू था?
फाइन, No, that is an established fact. Indira Gandhi had coined the slogan "Garibi Hatao." Narendra Modi has coined the slogan "Garib Hatao."
मुद्दे की बात कीजिए ना।
Plain and simple.
In Gurugram, when the town and country planning department said 7 illegal colonies were raised, तब क्यों नहीं आपके दिल में दुख हुआ? तब तो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की बात कर रहे थे आप, क्यों?
No, why not? The first, if an injustice has been done to anybody, There must be proper redressal mechanism.
अरे आप जाते ना वहां पे, आप कैंडल लाइट लेके क्यों नहीं गए? Why didn't you go with the candle? Because in a democracy people have the right to protest. Kamal Zaman Chaudhary, you should have gone with a candle.
That's why you have passed the Gujarat bill against the protest.
Clearly you will not answer that question. Here is the bottom line. Whether this particular settlement is legal or not is not to be decided by any political party or by anyone sitting on TV. It will be decided by the courts. As of today, the Uttarakhand High Court has found, after a long drawn legal process, that it is illegal. And till the time there is another ruling coming from a higher court, nobody has the right to try and provoke people, to paint it as some kind of communal conspiracy, even though it may suit them politically. That is what the law of the land and democracy dictates. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, Sumaya Rana, for joining me. Tomorrow is going to be very important hearing in the Supreme Court. We'll be live on it. Don't forget to tune in then. But let me now, in fact, go straight across to the former Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. Harish Rawat is now joining us. Harish Rawat जी, आपके ऊपर बहुत सवाल उठाए जा रहे हैं, खास तौर पर कांग्रेस पार्टी पे. आप खुद मुख्यमंत्री रहे हैं. उत्तराखंड हाईकोर्ट ने इसको इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन बोला है. पिछले 15 साल से ये पूरा मामला चला आ रहा है. उसके बावजूद अब इसके ऊपर राजनीति क्यों हो रही है?
ये केवल 15 साल पहले का मामला नहीं है. इसमें कई घर ऐसे हैं जो 100 साल पहले बने हैं, आजादी से भी पहले बने हैं, और कुछ इसमें शत्रु संपत्ति वाले घर भी हैं. आप लगा लीजिए, शत्रु संपत्ति वाले घर 1947 से पहले के होंगे. और इसमें कई मकान, दूसरे पब्लिक यूटिलिटीज जिसमें स्कूल, कॉलेज आदि सम्मिलित हैं, और पुलिस पोस्ट हैं, और चीजें हैं, बैंक्स हैं, वो बाद में सरकार ने बनाई है. ये राज्य सरकार की जमीन है. इसमें रेलवे की भूमि वही है जो डिमार्केटेड सफेद पिलर जिसमें पड़े हुए हैं. बाकी जमीन सफेद पिलर के अंदर जो इंक्रोचमेंट था उसको हटाने के विषय में हमारी सरकार ने भी सहमति दी थी. उसमें हमने कहा था हम रिवर फ्रंट डेवलपमेंट के जरिए कुछ जमीन को निकालेंगे और जो जमीन निकलेगी उसमें इनको बसाएंगे. प्रॉब्लम यह आई है कि वर्तमान राज्य सरकार ने इसमें सारी जमीन को रेलवे की भूमि के रूप में बता दिया और फुल फैक्ट्स हाईकोर्ट के सामने नहीं रखे. यदि फुल फैक्ट्स रखे गए होते तो जजमेंट कुछ दूसरे तरीके का भी हो सकता था. और इसमें मैं एक चीज और बिल्कुल स्पष्ट तौर पर कह देना चाहता हूं कि हमने इन बस्तियों को रेगुलराइज करने के लिए एक कमेटी बनाई थी. उस कमेटी की संस्तुति के आधार पर एक एक्ट विधानसभा ने सर्वसम्मति से पास किया जो है मलिन बस्तियों के नियमितीकरण का, और उसमें मालिकाना हक भी दिए गए. देहरादून के अंदर 100 लोगों को हमारी सरकार के जाने से पहले पट्टे भी बांट दिए गए थे. 35,000 घर बनाने का प्रोजेक्ट हमने रुद्रपुर से स्टार्ट किया था. वो सब इन्हीं को ध्यान में रख करके किया गया था. इस प्रॉब्लम का हम ये चाहते थे कि शहर भी सुंदर हो जाए, जहां इंक्रोचमेंट है उनको विधिवत तरीके से चीजों को लीगलाइज किया जाए. आप ये बताइए, जो हल्द्वानी के समकक्ष 7 चीजें ग्रो की हैं उनको आप अचानक इंक्रोचमेंट कैसे कर देंगे? हाँ सर, क्योंकि राज्य सरकार यदि कोई लाइन डिमार्केट करती है कि इस साल से बाद में जो आए हैं हम उनको नहीं रहेंगे, तो हम बात कर सकते हैं लोगों से जो है. लेकिन राज्य सरकार तो सबको एक झाड़ू से हाथ देना चाहती है. और आप एक बात अंदाज लगाइए, हम मानवीय संबंधों के आधार पर बने हुए राज्य हैं. ये देवभूमि कही जाती है. 52,000 लोग, जिनमें से 10,000 लोग वृद्ध हैं, महिलाएं हैं, बच्चे हैं, गर्भवती महिलाएं हैं, विकलांग हैं. कहां इस कड़कती ठंड में उनको कहां सड़क में पटकेंगे आप? तो इसलिए हमने कहा
सर, ये आप कह रहे हैं कि एक मानवीय संवेदना होनी चाहिए, बट कोर्ट ने ये साफ साफ कहा है कि मालिकाना हक जो एपेलेंट्स थे वो प्रूव नहीं कर पाए. ये कोर्ट का कहना है कि आपने मालिकाना हक सिद्ध नहीं किया है कि ये जमीन पर आपका हक है. तो इसमें भाजपा सरकार या किसी और का कहां से बात आती है? ये तो कोर्ट ने खुद माना हुआ है.
मालिकाना हक देखिए, 100 साल पहले यदि कोई मकान बना है, आज उसको क्या आप कहना चाहेंगे? और 50 साल पहले, 55 साल, 60 साल पहले बने हैं, क्या कहना चाहेंगे? क्या इसके लिए केवल वही लोग दोषी हैं? और जो दोषी हैं सक्सेसिव गवर्नमेंट्स में, और ये अकेले एक क्या प्रॉब्लम केवल हल्द्वानी के अंदर है? ये देश भर में इस तरीके की प्रॉब्लम है।
नहीं, देश भर में तो प्रॉब्लम
देखिए, ये 52-55 हजार लोगों को इस सड़क में केवल कानूनी नुक्तों के आधार पर आप खड़ा करेंगे? ये चीफ मिनिस्टर को एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव डिसीजन लेना चाहिए और सुप्रीम कोर्ट से कहना चाहिए कि हमको एक ट्राई करने दीजिए, और यदि वो हल निकालना चाहेंगे, इसका हल निकल जाएगा, लोग भी इस बात को समझेंगे। और मैं तो एक बात और कहना चाहता हूं राज्य सरकार से, ये डिक्लेयर कर दीजिए कि प्रत्येक जगह अब कोई बाहर से व्यक्ति आकर के बस रहा है, जब तक उसको विधिवत परमिशन नहीं दी जा रही है, जमीनों में न बसाए जाए। देहरादून के अंदर इनके मंत्रीगण, दूसरे लोग, खाले, सारी नदियां इन्होंने भर दी है। रिस्पना बिंदाल गायब हो गई है भाजपा के शासनकाल के अंदर जो है। क्या कहेंगे? मतलब रिस्पना में जो कुछ हो रहा है, बिंदाल में जो कुछ हो रहा है, तो कि भाजपा करवा रही है वो उचित है?
नहीं सर, वो भी बिल्कुल अनुचित है और उसके खिलाफ अलग केस बेशक होना चाहिए अगर वहां पर करप्शन या एंक्रोचमेंट हो रहा है। पर सर पॉइंट ये है कि ये सब चीजें कोर्ट ने कही हैं, भाजपा ने नहीं कही, और कोर्ट ने ये भी कहा है कि कहीं भी अगर रेलवे पे एंक्रोचमेंट होता है प्रॉब्लम है।
सरकार उनकी है। सरकार के सामने, हाईकोर्ट के सामने फुल फैक्ट्स रखना और ह्यूमैनिटेरियन कंसिडरेशन को रखना, यह राज्य सरकार का फर्ज था। उनको एक कार्य योजना हाईकोर्ट के सामने रखनी चाहिए थी। हमारे नागरिक हैं, गलत बस गए हैं। मैं कहता हूं पुरानी गवर्नमेंट्स ने गलत किया है, लेकिन ये आज की गवर्नमेंट तो यह है, सुधारने का दायित्व किसको है? सुधारने का दायित्व जो आज की गवर्नमेंट है उसको है। आप उनकी पुरानी गवर्नमेंट्स की जो गलतियां हैं उसको आप लोगों के सामने लाइए, मगर सुधार करके बताइए ये हमने सुधार किया है। इनकी क्या कार्य योजना है आज की, वो बताना चाहिए ना। और मीडिया को सवाल,
पुरानी सरकार की जो आप गलतियां बोल रहे हैं, आपका जो आपने रिव्यू पिटिशन फाइल की थी उसके बारे में कोर्ट ने बोला है अपने ऑर्डर में that we will not be hesitant to observe that in the instant case the present encroachers over the railway land were sheltered by political heads of the state government, यानी कि आपकी सरकार।
क्यों, क्या, किस तरीके से ये आकाशवाणी की है, मैं उस पर कोई कमेंट करने के लिए सक्षम व्यक्ति नहीं हूं। मैं कमेंट करूंगा, हम न्यायपालिका का आदर करते हैं, लेकिन कई कमेंट हैं जिनका कभी कभी इतिहास विश्लेषण करेगा। तो एक बात बताइए, एक सुप्रीटेंडेंट, एक एसएसपी लिख करके दे रहा है कि साहब आजकल वीआईपी मूवमेंट ज्यादा है, मेरे लिए पुलिस इतनी स्पेयर करना कठिन हो जाएगा, आप कुछ समय बाद हमसे पुलिस मांग लीजिए, हम आपको पुलिस देंगे। आप उस डॉक्यूमेंट के आधार पर राज्य सरकार कह रही है तत्कालीन सरकार जो है उसको शेल्टर देना चाहती थी। क्या एसएसपी, ये नॉर्मल जो कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस उनके और रेलवे के बीच में है, क्या चीफ मिनिस्टर को या गवर्नमेंट को ये देखने का, ये सब गवर्नमेंट देती है सब चीजों को? ये नॉर्मल पुलिसिंग का काम है और एसएसपी उस बात को देखते हैं। और ये प्रॉब्लम को देखिए इस प्रॉब्लम को हमेशा अप्रिशिएट किया जाता है कि लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की प्रॉब्लम कहीं खड़ी ना हो, उसके लिए द पुलिस एसएसपी इज द बेस्ट जज, इज ए आईपीएस ऑफिसर।
सर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर प्रॉब्लम, मैं लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की बात नहीं कर रही थी, मैं जो कोर्ट ने बोला है आपकी रिव्यू पिटिशन के बारे में कि वो अपीजमेंट और वोट बैंक पॉलिटिक्स की वजह से था। बट एनीवे मैं ये बताना चाहती हूँ कि जो पीआईएल है वो इसलिए हुई थी क्योंकि एनक्रोचमेंट की वजह से एक ब्रिज गिर गया था।
नहीं, आपको जो जानकारी किसी ने दी है ये इस एनक्रोचमेंट की वजह से नहीं हुआ है। ये गौला के अंदर जो खनन के लोग में जो है गौला को बिल्कुल खोद डाला गया है, जो एम्बैंकमेंट नहीं बनाए गए उसके कारण हुआ है। वो ये अलग बात है कि उस दोष से हम बच नहीं रहे, हम नहीं कह रहे हैं, क्योंकि हमारे समय में ही पुल बना था, उसको ध्यान में रखा जाना चाहिए था। जो दोष किसी कालखंड में हमसे हुआ है हम स्वीकार करेंगे, लेकिन चीजों को गलत तरीके से रिप्रेजेंट किया जाए और उसके जरिए जजमेंट हासिल किया जाए, तो ये सरकार की नीयत पर इससे गंभीर संदेह खड़े होते हैं। और मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट कहेगा कि आप राज्य सरकार को लताड़ेगा, जो है उनसे पूछ सकता है कि आप ये फुल फैक्ट्स क्या है आप हमारे सामने रखिए। और लेकिन मैं तो एक मानवीय दृष्टिकोण से भी बात कर रहा हूं। मुख्यमंत्री गार्जियन है राज्य के, जो है उन गरीबों के इस ठंड कड़कड़ाती ठंड में जिनको क्या 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 तस्वीर हम अपने राज्य की बनाना चाह रहे हैं।
पर इतनी
तो
सारी जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज जो जा रही हैं, चलिए कोर्ट में जो होगा वो तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट फैसला करेगा, बट ये कहना कि यहां पर सिर्फ एक मुस्लिम बाहुल इलाका है इसलिए ये एक्शन लिया जा रहा है, इसमें तो कोई तथ्य ही नहीं है।
नहीं, जो ये प्ली ले रहे हैं मैं उनसे सहमत नहीं हूं, क्योंकि यहां पर हिंदू आबादी भी बहुत है, गरीब लोग यही हैं। एक बस्ती का नाम ही ढोलक बस्ती है, जहां गरीब ढोलक बनाने वाले वो लोग जो है सारे कुमाऊं में उसका व्यापार करते थे। यही राजो टंडन नाम की एक महिला है, गरीबों की नेता, मेरी बहन है। हाँ, मैं उसके बाद बहुत जाता हूं राखी बंधवाने के लिए। ऐसा नहीं है कि यहाँ ये मिक्स पॉपुलेशन है और हल्द्वानी के साथ ग्रो किए हैं। हाँ, इधर मैंने देखा है कि 5-6 साल के अंदर कुछ लोग आए हैं और वो आप कोई कट ऑफ डेट डिमार्केट कर दीजिए कि भाई इस डेट्स के बाद जो लोग आए हैं, तुम्हारे पास पुलिस है, तुम्हारे पुलिस के पास उनका पर्दा होना चाहिए, तो आप उसके आधार पर कुछ करिए। कुछ ऐसा लॉजिकल लगे। आप 50 साल 60 साल के व्यक्ति को जो मकान में रह रहा है,
कट ऑफ डेट तो फिर बढ़ती जाएगी, सरकार बदलेगी, कोई और नहीं कट ऑफ डेट।
कल तक वो राज्य सरकार की जमीन थी। हमारी सरकार के वक्त में हमने राज्य सरकार की जमीन के रूप में उसको चिन्हित किया है और राज्य सरकार की जमीन के तौर पर हमने उसको मरीन बस्ती रेगुलराइजेशन प्रोग्राम में सम्मिलित किया।
आप कट ऑफ डेट बढ़ाते जाइए, रेगुलराइज करते जाइए, इससे प्रेसिडेंट क्या होगा? फिर तो कोई भी सरकारी जमीन पर आके बैठ जाएगा। खुद कोर्ट ने यह भी बोला है दैट एंक्रोचमेंट ऑन रेलवे लैंड हैज बिकम अ मेनेस अक्रॉस द कंट्री, इट क्रिएट्स हिंड्रेंसेस इन डेवलपमेंट।
देखिए, देश और दुनिया के अंदर जमीन का और घर का मौलिक हक है। अपने नागरिकों को जब हम मौलिक हक नहीं दे पाते हैं तो कहीं वो कानून से विचलन करके भी कर देते हैं, तो हम उसको फिर रेगुलर करते हैं, ह्यूमैनिटेरियन कंसिडरेशन के आधार पर उसको देखते हैं, क्योंकि कर्तव्य बेसिकली गवर्नमेंट का है कि वो घर दे, वो जमीन दे,
सरकारी जमीन पे
जमीन के हक को मौलिक हक के तौर पर देश की आजादी की लड़ाई का और देश की आजादी के बाद जमींदारी उन्मूलन का इतना बड़ा वो देश के स्वतंत्रता संग्राम के बराबर ही महत्वपूर्ण संग्राम था जो कांग्रेस के नेतृत्व में लड़ा गया।
आप स्वतंत्रता संग्राम की बात कर रहे हैं और एक जो सड़क पर अब संग्राम हो रहा है, लोग कह रहे हैं कि शाहीन बाग का जो मॉडल है अब उसको हल्द्वानी में ले जाया गया है।
ये तथाकथित उस मीडिया के एक सेक्शन की देन है जो इसके मानवीय पक्ष को देखने के बजाय इसको शाहीन बाग बनाने की बात कर रहा है। और ये हल्द्वानी के, देखिए शाहीन बाग में क्या परिस्थितियां थी क्या नहीं थी, मैं उसकी वो नहीं करना चाहूंगा, लेकिन हल्द्वानी की परिस्थितियां वो नहीं है जिनको बनाने की कोशिश की जा रही है, जिस रूप में इसको दर्शाया जा रहा है। और यहां पर कांग्रेस भी, हम ये नहीं कह रहे हैं, हम कह रहे हैं जहां पर अनुचित है, जिन्होंने केवल इनकोचर बन करके अभी आए हैं 8-10 साल के अंदर, जो है आप कुछ उनका दूसरा रास्ता निकाल लीजिए, लेकिन जो पहले से बसे हुए लोग हैं उनका दूसरा रास्ता निकालिए। जो राज्य सरकार की जमीन में बसे हुए हैं उनको आप हक दे दीजिए, उनको हक दे दीजिए। हम कब कह रहे हैं रेलवे की जमीन को, रेल भी तो चाहिए हमको
सर।
ये जो कौन कह रहा है रेलवे की जमीन पर कब्जे को आप ठीक करिए करके?
सर, ये जो आप बोल रहे हैं कि आप उनको हक दे दीजिए, इसी तरीके की राजनीति को कोर्ट ने क्रिटिसाइज किया है, जहां पर उन्होंने बोला है दैट द प्रेजेंट एनक्रोचर्स ऑन रेलवे लैंड वर शेल्टर्ड बाय द पॉलिटिकल हेड्स ऑफ द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट एंड वर हैविंग पॉलिटिकल पेट्रनेज व्हिच एट द रेलेवेंट टाइम व्हेन द अर्लियर बेंच डिसाइडेड द मैटर दे वर एट द हेल्म ऑफ अफेयर्स। देयर वाज शेल्टर प्रोवाइडेड बाय द देन सिटिंग एमएलए हु वाज आल्सो एंजॉयिंग द स्टेटस ऑफ बीइंग अ कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर। रिव्यू पिटीशन जो आपने फाइल की,
कल होगा उसको विचार।
नहीं सर, रिव्यू पिटीशन
का ये जजमेंट कहां से आ गया?
नहीं सर, रिव्यू पिटीशन सुप्रीम कोर्ट में नहीं, आपने रिव्यू पिटीशन डाली थी जब आप स्टेट गवर्नमेंट में थे 2017 में, तब आप मुख्यमंत्री थे, तो आपकी सरकार ने रिव्यू पिटीशन डाली थी और उसको कोर्ट ने बोला है कि ये वोट बैंक पॉलिटिक्स के चलते इस रिव्यू पिटीशन को उस वक्त की उत्तराखंड सरकार ने डाला था, उसके बारे में कोर्ट ने बोला है। It's a political shield provided by the then ruling party for political gains to the unauthorized occupants.
ऐसा कोई रिव्यू पिटीशन हमारी तरफ से दायर नहीं हुआ। कांग्रेस पार्टी की तरफ से दायर नहीं हुआ। और यदि कोई है, हम नहीं जानते, हम केवल एक बात जानते हैं कि हमने उसको रेगुलराइज करने का फैसला लिया था, सारी मलिन बस्तियों को कानून बना करके लिया था, कानून सर्वसम्मत था। और उसके बाद हमने रिवर फ्रंट डेवलपमेंट का प्रोग्राम उसके साइमल्टेनियसली लॉन्च किया था, उनको घर देने का प्रोग्राम साइमल्टेनियसली लॉन्च किया था। और हमने अपने एसएसपीज को जिम्मेदार बनाया था कि यदि अब इन घाटियों में, नदियों के बेल्ट में, उनमें कोई लोग आते हैं उनको बसने दिया जाएगा तो एसएचओ विल बी हेल्ड रिस्पॉन्सिबल, और यदि बड़े पैमाने पर होगा तो एसएसपी विल बी हेल्ड रिस्पॉन्सिबल। ये हमारी सरकार का स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर था।
नहीं सर, ये मैं आपको एक बार स्पेसिफिक बता दूं, ये है रिव्यू पिटिशन नंबर 6 ऑफ 2017 सीकिंग रिव्यू ऑफ द जजमेंट डेटेड 9th November 2016। इसको बाद में डिवीजन बेंच ने डिसमिस किया था, पर ये आपने 2017 में रिव्यू डाला है, उस वक्त पर जब बोला था कि अतिक्रमण हटाया जाए, जब कोर्ट ने बोला था अतिक्रमण हटाया जाए, तो आपने 2017 में रिव्यू पिटिशन डाला था।
हाँ, लेकिन उसमें तथ्य राज्य सरकार को देने नहीं दिए गए थे ना, देने नहीं दिए गए थे। तब जो है, तब तक चुनाव आ गया था, इलेक्शन, उस समय तक इलेक्शन कमीशन का रूल प्रिवेल कर गया था, और राज्य सरकार की जो पॉलिटिकल विंग थी उसके पीछे ये सब चीजें हुई हैं। उसकी टाइमिंग ऐसी बनाई गई कि ताकि जो है इस तरीके के चीजों को, अब मैं उन सब चीजों पर कमेंट नहीं करना चाहता, इसीलिए मैंने कहा हिस्ट्री विल जज सम टाइम हाउ things has happened in this case.
So history will indeed judge what has happened and who is responsible for what we are seeing right now in Haldwani. Ultimately, like we've been saying all along, it is only the court, the letter of law, which must prevail, and not the politics and not people who are on the streets thinking that might is right. Thank you very much, Harish Rawat ji, हमसे बात करने के लिए. We'll keep a close eye on what happens tomorrow in the Supreme Court.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
इनकेस आप मिलेनियम वाली जनरेशन से हैं तो आपने शायद वो गाना सुना होगा, देखा जो तुझे यार दिल में बजी गिटार। सो कुछ ऐसे अगर आप मूड में हैं तो यहाँ पे गिटार की स्ट्रिंग्स टाइप दी गई हैं, एग्जैक्टली स्ट्रिंग्स नहीं है, बट ऐसे कुछ मूड में है तो आप इनका इस्तेमाल उस समय जरूर कर सकते हैं। अब आप समझ गए होंगे कि गाड़ी कौन सी है, हाल ही में इसका लॉन्च हुआ था, ये है BYD की Atto 3। और क्या परफॉर्मेंस, क्या रेंज, क्या डिजाइन, क्या फीचर्स BYD अपने इस इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल में दे रहा है, उन सभी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूं इस वीडियो में।
A 22-year-old was mowed down by a truck after she fell from a vehicle while trying to avoid a pothole on a road near Chennai. Karnataka leader of opposition Siddaramaiah said that the Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai and other leaders are like puppies in front of Prime Minister Modi and shiver in his presence. An inebriated male passenger urinated on a female co-passenger in Air India's business class on the 26th of November. Air India has lodged a police complaint 1 month into the incident. The passenger has been banned from flying with Air India for 30 days after an internal committee has been constituted. NCW has also taken cognizance of the incident and has sought a report within 7 days. Miscreants pelted stones on Bengal's first semi-high-speed Vande Bharat Express and partially damaged 2 windows and a door. This was the second incident of its kind within 24 hours in the state. The BJP has blamed CPM for attacking the ancestral home of former Tripura Chief Minister Biplab Deb. In a major development in the Shraddha Walkar murder case, the Delhi police says that the samples of the hair and bones recovered by them matched that of Shraddha. BRS MLA Durgam Chinnaya allegedly assaulted toll staff in Telangana after they did not let his vehicle pass. The act was caught on camera and the police are probing the matter. The National Investigation Agency carried out searches at 17 locations in West Bengal in connection with the Iqbalpur-Mominpur clashes that occurred on the 9th of October. The Bihar police Lati charged Bihar Staff Selection Commission aspirants who were protesting against the state government over the paper leak.
The smartphone category in India is anyway popular, right? उसमें भी जो 20 से 25 हजार वाले स्मार्टफोन्स हैं वो और भी ज्यादा पॉपुलर हैं। शायद इसीलिए Infinix ने आज अपना 020 स्मार्टफोन लॉन्च कर दिया है। I have the smartphone with me right here और इसको आज करेंगे अनबॉक्स। Hi, you're watching Gadget Time. This is me, Padmaja Jain, and it's time for me to unbox this device और देखते हैं फोन में आपको क्या-क्या contents दिखाई देंगे। Let's begin.